We're not a cult. We're not a cult. Let me tell you about the following program. It's just a gathering of like-minded individuals seeking greater personal growth. Community unity learning, thinking. We're not a cult type of cult. No Kool-Aid, no spaceships, no mandatory tracksuits, no squirrel mutilations, no sacrificing goats, mild farm work, no throwing virgins into volcanoes, no shucking off clothing in the middle of the forest. To the beat of a tom-tom, the beat of a tom-tom, the beat of a tom. Joe is not at all, the leader of the following. He's just the host. Where's the host?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the following program. I am your host, Joe Neerman, a.k.a. Good Lawgic. As I hope you're doing better than I am in dealing with the heat that seems to be blitzing across this country. I'm in the Northeast in Jersey, as most of you are aware. It's like 100 degrees here. I walked outside, and the problem I'm having, today was a fast day, Jewish fast day. So that's not good when you can't eat or drink. And then then I also have in my room here, which is where I do like most of my work, my AC is kind of working at like 25% power. Sometimes the condenser goes on. Sometimes it decides it's just in fan mode. So I want to replace actually the air conditioner. Would have gone out to replace it. And then I'm like, how the hell am I getting that up these stairs? Like normally I got like, young sons who are like, assisting me. I'm here alone. I was like, how the hell am I going to do that? I don't know how to I don't know. And one time I had this disaster with an air conditioner. It was bad. I don't know. We'll count that as part of the goal. I'll throw in that story. It's not a really long story, so it's not a very long story. But yeah, I'll throw that in if we hit tonight's goal. Tonight's goal is 15 Super Chats quantities of $10 or more. In which case we'll get to hour 3. Where we'll cover gunfights in court and out. But the main topics tonight are, first and foremost, Tucker Carlson is talking about starting his own political party. I want to talk about the ramifications this is likely to have on the Republican Party, right? Likelihood that he'll actually go through with it, and whether or not, what implications this has for the GOP. Does this, both short-term and long-term, the nature of the ramifications that we should be looking at as a result, if in fact he goes through with that. Also, a breaking bombshell story coming out of the FBI related to Gavin Newsom and an aide of his who was wearing a wire for a very long time. This, as there's talk, and he's come out publicly saying that the FBI is investigating him for crimes. So there's this story which just came out. Like, I was already setting up the stream when this story broke. So I'm still digesting that story right now, and definitely want to look into that. Also, Tim Walz, the latest Walzian story, I think he went too far even for the left. I think when the left learns about this, I think even they're going to be like, okay, we're done with him. We're done. That's how far he's gone. So all this and more. So buckle up, settle in there. I apologize for my dress, but like I said, it's hot. Where I'm at right now, the room I'm in right now is like 77 degrees. So yeah, this is the show dress code when it's 77 degrees in the room. So anyway, so that's the story. Oh, one last thing. Because of July 4th, I should mention this. Because of July 4th, I'm having a sale on my merch store. You see the links for the merch in the description. I should probably pin it. Pin it in the chat, right? I should probably do that. I should probably pin it in the chat. So yeah, if you check out my merch store, I'm having a 25% in honor of our 250th anniversary, a 25% discount that's going to be going on for the next week in celebration of that. I'm going to urge you to check it out. And here is the merch store link. That so yeah, if you use the code America250, very simple code to remember, very easy to remember. Use that code, and you'll be getting 25% off the next week. And I'm urging you to check it out and see if for all your Good Logic merch needs. So there you go. And you're welcome. It's my way of showing you that I'm appreciating July 4th. I'm appreciating our nation's quarter millennial anniversary. Wow, crazy. Anyhow, what else I got? Oh yeah, I got this guy going on.
Hey,
how are you?
I thought it was called a quincentennial.
Is that what it's?
I don't know. I've heard someone say that. I don't know what that means though.
That doesn't make any sense at all. That would be 5 times 200. 5 times 100. That'd be 500.
What the hell am I?
Quin means 5.
I know, but it's something about a
biquin.
Biquincentennial. Something maybe biquin, or maybe it's. Oh, you know what? It's probably because it was Pride Month. They were calling it biquin.
Yeah, no, he's riding those bikes.
Mm-hmm. Did you say it's 77 degrees in your room?
I think so.
And you think that's hot?
Yeah, that's hot for me.
Oof. My air is always set at 77.
Yeah, Mom Donnie's telling everyone to set the air at 78. That's cruel. That's cruel. That is cruel. Outside of my room in the hall up here, it's like 90.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I tell you.
Now, downstairs on the main floor of my house, it's 68 degrees. It's like, so, yeah, because that air conditioner is just like awesome. It's a beast.
Yeah. But like you get used to it. Like when I first moved to Florida, my air was set at like 72, 73. But then slowly, what?
I'm not getting used to that.
No, I'm saying it was set like 72, 73. And then the longer you're here, you start your temperature, it gets, because you get used to the heat.
Right.
And so you're just like at 77 is chilly. Because when you come in from 95 degrees to 77, you're chilly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't. Okay, maybe. I guess that makes sense in theory. I just no. Anyhow, I don't know if I really nailed at home what I was planning on covering if we get to hour 3. Which honestly, when we have a late night show, we almost never hit the goal. So I'd be shocked.
You're not selling it very well.
Shocked if we hit the goal. I'm like, there's no way in hell we're hitting this goal tonight, unless the only way it's going to happen.
Listen, do you guys want to hear about crazy transgender shootings and other plots to shoot up casinos, and they want to kill all Republicans, and then people getting shot in Walmart parking lots? You want to hear about that stuff? You got to get the third hour.
You want to hear a lawyer breaking down fights in 2 different states where Harmeet Dillon is trying to knock out gun restrictions? We got to get to hour 3. That's why it's gunfights in court and out.
And out.
And in and out. Yeah, there you go.
In and out and in and out and in and out. And Joe's sweating again.
Tonight's top story. Tonight's top story relates to Tucker Carlson. Before we get to that story, before we get to the story about him, this is just so you get a feel for where Tucker Carlson is out. As Nathan Livingston is reporting over here, Tucker Carlson, after being debunked by Dan Bongino, is now claiming he can expose the former FBI director for lying about Trump shutting down the Butler investigation. He won't, though, because I don't want to. Let's hear him.
Trump shut down the investigation into Butler. That is a fact, called Dan Bongino. And ultimately, after a long series of text exchanges, which I still have, and phone conversations, he said, look, take it up with Trump. He's the one who shut down the investigation.
Making an allegation, claiming to have evidence in text, which I'll now show you, my texts, because I have them too. I think he forgot that. And I'm going to show you how the secret information he claims to have, I'm going to make public. So now it's not secret. So I have the receipts. He has not yet displayed these. I will. Because I'll show you how what he's telling you in this clip, that there's some investigation into Butler that's been shut down. I'm going to bring the receipts to show you all of this is fake. Tucker fans or anyone else. Do you see anything in this text he claims to have that says the president shut down the investigation? He's just making this up.
So I say this, and he releases like 4 out of, I don't know, 3 dozen text messages from me to prove that's not true. Well, it is true. And I'm not going to respond by releasing all the text messages because I don't want to release private text messages. I could.
Trust me, bro.
But I don't want to go there. I don't like this whole world where like we text each other and then we post screenshots. Like I don't want to participate in that.
I don't want to participate.
He's just making this up.
Yeah, well, and just to prove that point all the more, Dan Bongino came out and said, I am granting Nepo baby Tucker Carlson permission to publish the text messages he claims to have, stating that I told him President Trump shut down the investigation into Butler. Butler is obviously where the shooting incident happened on July 13th in Pennsylvania. Those were his words, and he should show he has a pair of balls and publish them. Spoiler alert, he won't, because they don't exist. I've already shown you the messages which say the opposite. I'm really sorry if you're still dumb enough to fall for this Times Square Rolex salesman act. I
will point out one thing too, which I don't know if you've been hit by it yet, but in the past 2 days, I've been hit by 13 separate copyright claims from a company called Super Bam for any time I've ever played any clip of Tucker Carlson. Clip videos going back a year ago.
You got hit for clips of
just like that. What just not clips from Tucker's show, clips of just Tucker talking different places. Tucker Carlson.
Really?
Yeah, they're claiming everything.
I haven't gotten hit with anything like that.
It's weird. Very weird.
It's very, very strange. That is really, really weird.
Yeah, I'm like popping up like one from, I'm like, wait, what? November 2025. What? I'm looking for Tucker Carlson. I was like, what?
That's pretty bizarre. So, newest report out now is I'm going to help build a third party. Tucker Carlson drops political bombshell. What? Former Fox News host Tucker Carlson said he plans to help build a third political party, claiming the country's leaders have stopped focusing on the needs of ordinary Americans. Speaking with Columbia Journalism Review, Carlson says he believes that there should be a good faith effort to create a political movement centered on improving life for Americans rather than fighting over foreign conflicts. Quote, I'm going to help build a third party. There should be a good faith effort to figure out what benefits the country, Carlson said. I mean, if you make $60,000 a year, you're degraded. Your life expectancy has gone down, and the promise of your children's lives is likely gone. No one seems to care. It's not even a factor. He also criticized what he sees as Washington's focus on overseas issues instead of domestic problems. What about Hamas? Carlson said, I officially don't care about Hamas. The U.S. government should have, as its first priority, the welfare of its own people. So that was, despite saying he wants to help build a new political party, Carlson said he has no plans to run for office himself. I don't want to be a candidate, he said. Carlson did not provide details about what the proposed third party would look like or when any formal efforts to organize it may begin. Carlson rejected the idea that he is strategically positioning himself against traditional conservative media, saying his editorial decisions are driven by instinct rather than strategy. Excuse me. That's usually the way that the most progress happens. It's just by gut instinct, not by strategy. I'm not strategic in any way. I make almost all decisions on the basis of smell and instinct. I have no real idea who watches our show. I'm sure there are people who work here who have or claim to have a better sense of who the audience is, Carlson responded. When asked if he speaks with President Donald Trump, Carlson said he has cut off contact with Trump since the conflict with Iran began because Trump made him look like a moron, and that he basically used him as a double agent without Carlson knowing it. By saying, no, we're not going to Iran, and then like Tucker going and calling Iran and saying it's safe to come out of your caves now, right before we bombed them. I haven't spoken to him since the regime change war began. I'm not interested in talking to him. I feel sorry for him. He's not a man in charge of his own life at this point. What the hell does that even mean? I don't know. That's just words Tucker Carlson says. Carlson distanced himself from the Republican Party during the Israel-Iran conflict, saying in June he could no longer support a party that, in his view, puts the interests of a foreign country ahead of those of American citizens. He also criticized the Trump administration for focusing on the Middle East instead of strengthening ties with Canada, which he calls the United States' closest and most important ally. How so? How so? How are they our closest and most? I mean, they're closest geographically. they're tied for the closest geographically with Mexico, but
did you know who is one of your closest allies?
Who's that?
Uzelian, who just gifted 20 subs on Rumble.
Oh my God! Wow, I see that. Oh my God! Thank you, brother. Look at that. I'm gonna give you the horn for that. God bless you. They don't tell me the names. I don't see them.
If you share my screen, they're not all populated. Only 4 got. I got it shared up there for you. The rants. It's in there on the thing shared.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back when they fill up. It takes a while for Rumble to fill them in.
Yeah. Well, that's the timing of it. Actually, that was good. So he's saying he doesn't want to run for office, which a lot of people are saying he should run for president, and that, you know, he'll easily win, which that's a joke. There's no way in hell he's going to win running for president. I mean, that sounds, you have to have your head buried so deep into your colon to actually believe that he would have any chance of winning public office on a presidential scale. Now, he could win public office on a smaller scale. That I think would make sense. Presidential? No. No way, no how.
Where's he from? Maine or Connecticut or something?
I think
like
he's
that?
from Maine. Yeah, I think he's from Maine.
I don't even think he could win in Maine.
Yeah, I mean, like, why didn't he run against Susan Collins? Why not try to primary her? You know, you want to run for office. Being senator is pretty much the second. Senator and governor are kind of like neck and neck as far as like what's the most prestigious statewide election you can win. You think he would win in Maine? No way.
I don't think so.
He wouldn't win in Maine. Maine Republicans are too milquetoast for Tucker Carlson. But so I'll tell you right now, what are your thoughts with respect to Tucker Carlson starting a third party? First and foremost, you think he's actually going to do it?
I hope he does.
Do you?
Sure.
Why?
Because it'll be the party of Nick Fuentes and the party of like it'll be like it'll just be more like Islamo-fascist weirdos. You know, like his backing's from Qatar and these other places, and his positions are not. You know, it's going to be more palatable people on the left than it will be the people on the right, in my opinion.
Nick Fuentes. It shocks me to say this. And perhaps this is all the more sign that he's actually a Fed agent. Nick Fuentes is less Islamo-fascist supportive, is less anti-Israel than virtually anyone else in the woke right. He mocks them. I shared a 5-minute clip of Nick Fuentes basically saying these idiots are continually like, Israel this, Israel that. Hey, if you think Israel killed Charlie Kirk, you're an idiot. Like him screaming about the IDS that's going on. So you're saying, you know, be Nick Fuentes. I'm saying I don't even know if he'd go there. Like he thinks that they're stupid, at least in his most recent rants. No, I think it'll be Alex Jones, Candace Owens, Owen Schroyer. I think it'll be Tom Massey's of the world.
Sure. So they'll run Tom Massey for president. Congratulations, you lost.
Yeah, but the question is, as far as would this be a fracture which would actually, you know, harm the GOP?
Nah, this is less threatening to the GOP than these communists taking over the Democrat Party are for the Democrats. They're going to implode. You know.
Well, I've been covering that on a couple of shows as far as the damage that the DSA is doing to the Democratic Party. I think that we're just going to see them yank the Democratic Party further and further towards more overt socialism.
Well, it's just going to their tent or their Democrat Party is just going to be like, oh, if you're not a gay LGBTQ plus person or Islamo-fascist, then you're not part of our party. It's like a red-green alliance, basically what they're calling it, the commies and the Islamists. That's what they're going to be: commies, Islamists, and gays. Which that's one hell of a party, I guess.
You think? I'm speculating that perhaps like this extremist type of perspective is. I think that might be an outgrowth of social media. Because we know that social media obviously impacts our worldview in ways that are far deeper than we possibly realize. We don't even understand how much it impacts us because the algorithm routinely will engage in confirmation bias. So it's going to the algorithm, whatever they see you like, they're going to give you more of it. So you end up basically going into this circle jerk of other people who think like you, which makes you think that your opinions are very widely held, because you're seeing the same stories and coverage over and over and over again, not realizing that this circle of people you're in, which, is like this big, and feels like the entire world, and it's like a circle this big in like a city. You know, this like a world that's the size of, you know, my house compared to like this little circle here. So it feels really significant because everywhere you're going, everyone's talking about it, but no one else outside your circle is. People on the street, you know, care very little about your stupid little circle if they even know of it. So, you know, and then when it comes time for election, we're asking from everyone, not just your stupid little circle. This is what makes anyone think that if Tucker Carlson were to start a party, which they're talking about calling it the We the People Party, that would be any bigger than the Libertarian Party.
I don't know. Are you aware that you have your YouTube chat set to members only?
It should not be that.
It is.
That's not good. I appreciate you notifying me of that. Did I really do that? I did do that. I apologize. I thought the chat was kind of slow. Thank you for alerting me. I just read that.
No problem.
Anyway, I got more on this story. But first, I want to bring up this that you were sharing here. God bless you, Uzelian Gifting. 20 memberships, including Slightly Salty, Red Delta, Dog Digger, Nixie Nix, Jim Satala. Look at that.
Look at that guy.
Duck Fat, Cyprian Co., JP Schwartz, Texas, Lindsay, and Ms. Maureen, and 10 more. That's
10
only
more.
10.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are. I don't know how you find them, but
It takes a while. Rumble's real weird. Like, even if there's people, you know, like it doesn't just reward. You have to actually talk in the chat to get awarded in Rumble. If you're not typing in the chat, it doesn't award you. So if anyone wants a free membership on Rumble, go in Joe's chat and say something.
I just tested it myself.
Well, you can't get one.
Damn it.
You can't get one.
Damn it. Ah. Well, I will tell you this. While we're on topic as far as like members and stuff like that. Oh my God, did this not? While we're on topic with respect to members and stuff like that, I want to just alert you all that let's do this. Sorry about that. I didn't mean for that to happen either. Yeah, so I want to just alert you all. You know how I have the new intro song? What do you think of the intro song? You like that?
I thought there was supposed to be a video along with it.
No, well, so there's no video yet. I'm working on the video. That's not.
The song was good. I like sea shanties.
So that's the song, which I plan on using for several months, and I am working on a video. But I was thinking, like, the video, what I have vision-wise for the video, just to let you know, what I have vision-wise is that I actually was thinking that I want to display different people starting to do things like, you know, the tracksuits or the model farm work or the goat sacrifices and virgins with volcanoes, like have a cartoon of it. And what I was thinking that would, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. What would make it even cooler was if I actually had avatars of diggers, avatars of ghetto folk, avatars of followers, and whatever. So like, that's why I was like, if you want to be in the video, so in that case, I need you to let me know. And like, I was going to have like a little placement feed there if you're interested in seeing a little you like running around in my intro, which I think could be cool. And it could be fun. Yeah, you
Sure,
could be
you
in
can put
there.
me in there.
You could be in there. So I have, because I have different tiers like background cameo versus being featured prominently, or, you know, choosing yourself. You might want to be a goat sacrifice person. I don't know. You might feel like goat sacrificing really defines you, or you might be like, you know, a virgin being thrown into a volcano.
No, I'll leave that to Cynic.
You might be. Anyway, if you are interested in that, I'll give you the link where you guys can find that. So this way, if any of you are interested in partaking in that, I do have only limited spots in that. So
The other 10 did fill out on promo.
Did they?
Yes.
Oh, so we can welcome them in there.
Sure.
The other 10 would include Walk to Here, NASCAR Mo, Hands One Pack, Ma1A, TJ Mose, Counted Puddles, Nana1776, C Frabo, CF Rob W, Sergeant Grinch, and Adam K. Welcome to, what are they called? They're not called ghetto. Well, welcome to membership in the ghetto. We'll call it that. And God bless you, Zelly. Thank you so much. I still want to finish up on this Tucker Carlson thing because I have more thoughts on this that I want to break down for everyone. So Tucker is saying that he's starting this new political party according to New York Post. And when he's saying that he's going to build it, he's saying there should be good faith effort. The last month, Carlson told Can't Be Censored podcast there's no chance he would support the GOP moving forward over the Iran war. Carlson, who described himself as a lifelong Republican, argued the administration betrayed the U.S. by going to war with Iran in response to pressure from Israel. I don't know how anyone knows this. Like, I don't know how anyone knows that this was pressure from Israel rather than Trump saying to Netanyahu, it's go time. Like, everyone just, this is something that the woke right has taken as a given. And I'm like, I don't know how would anyone even know this? But it's taken as a given. At this point, how could I or any American voters support a political party that's not loyal to the United States, that puts the interests of a foreign country above those of its own citizens? He says,
how is it not in America's interest to prevent Iran from having a nuclear weapon? What the fuck world are they living on that they think, oh, it's no matter to America if Iran has a nuclear bomb? I mean, as soon as Israel's gone, they're going to shoot it at us next. We're target 2.
Rant, go. Don't slow down.
We could even be target 1. I mean, who knows? They might want to take us out first so they can torture the Israelis. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, I don't. Iran's been on the menu since 1979. They're lucky I have never had my opportunity to do what I'd like to do to Iran.
What would you do?
Be all glass.
You would glass Iran?
Glass it.
94 million people, you would glass them?
Yeah, whatever. Got to break some eggs to make an omelet.
That's a lot of eggs. That's a lot of eggs. At this point, how could I or any American voter support a political party that's not loyal to the United States that puts the interests of our own country above those of own citizens? Not possible to vote for people like that. The longtime political pundit suggested his new party would focus on the welfare of Americans above all else. I mean, if you make 60,000, we saw this before. But the question that we have here is, first and foremost, I'll tell you right now, 0 chance he starts this party. 0. He might be willing to affix his name to supporting a party. That might happen. But him actually like really going out, and he might donate some money to it. But as far as
he's got a major problem, Joe. Major problem.
Tell me the major problem.
All the foreign money he takes in. He can't start a political party with foreign money. That's a fucking federal crime.
Well, we don't know that he takes in foreign money. What?
Do I need to pull up the reports again?
What evidence?
I showed you before. We went through this before with the money coming from Qatar and the money coming from the Pakistani Iranian guy.
I don't.
We pulled it all up. His whole thing is funded. His media thing is funded by a fucking half Pakistani, half Iranian. The guy's like, mother was Pakistani, father's Iranian. That's who's funding all his stuff.
It is pretty funny that his nickname is Tucker Carlson, and like he only cares about local issues. He sounds like good stuff to Hour 3. See you then. Thank you so much. No Bella Vision tonight? What?
I mean, I guess I could put her on for a little while.
We'll get through. Okay, we'll get through. I hate to tell you, but we all drink Kool-Aid with our squirrel. That's not true. No one. Thanks. No.
Sorry.
We all drink Kool-Aid
can't even stream with a dog next to him.
I happen to like dogs. I'm a very big dog fan, but that's if it's my dog. That's as a general rule. Lara Trump says about this, what she says, that she's struggling to understand Tucker Carlson. She doesn't understand him.
A lot of the, it makes me really sad. A lot of these people, I feel like our family got to know very well, and Tucker's not the only one, but it makes me really sad to see that this is kind of where things have ended up. At least this is where they are right now. I hope this is not where they ultimately end. But, I think that the people out there who are consuming content online need to be very aware of what they're consuming. I've had people in my own family who have kind of fallen for some of the more crazy talking points out there by some of these individuals. And then they come to me and they say, well, is this true? Is that true? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it you're watching? Where are you getting your information? So sadly, it is having an impact. But what we need to be doing as a party is not allowing people to divide us up, not having different factions. We need to be united. We need to coalesce together. I continue to think about how things felt 2 years ago right now as we were leading into the 2024 elections. Man, I've never seen a more
Everyone's forgotten about how bad things were in 2024.
United Republican Party. I've never seen people more in line to get out there, go vote, save our country. That's the kind of energy we need to have right now as we're heading towards November. There's going to be effort after effort. I can't even talk to try and divide us, to try and stifle that enthusiasm and prevent people from going out to vote. We can't buy that. We've got to be better than that.
Yeah. So the question is, if there was such a party started, and he's not it's not just these reports which are implying that. We also have there's talk from Marjorie Taylor Greene about starting this new party.
I think there's a group of us that if we decide to align, we could launch a true America-focused party that doesn't fall into the traps of Democrats and Republicans, but could align some serious players from the right and the left and move forward. But Piers, I'm also very realistic because I was in the system. I've served in Congress. I've run campaigns. I know what it takes. It's difficult to launch a third party. So the reality is, this isn't something that gets off the ground in just a couple of campaign cycles. This is a movement that has to be developed and would take time to develop. I'm not sure where that is right now, but I am in talks with people, and there are serious conversations happening, looking at
serious conversations
with people with money, and the money they're going to get is from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, from all these other places. That's the money they're talking about and getting, because Tucker Carlson has made it clear, Joe, that he doesn't believe that Islam is a problem.
Right.
He thinks we're crazy.
Right.
Everyone's crazy. No, cut your head off. No, it's the Jews.
I think that they literally lost their minds. I don't know what the hell. There is no way in hell this is ever going to be a thing. The We the People Party, which this was shared by, in case you're wondering, the We the People Party. How old is this account? I'm just wondering. When did this?
What was that party they tried? Didn't they try launching something? It's probably the same people who were behind that. What was it called? The party that they were trying to push before 2024 was going to be like, they were trying to get RFK to come along with them and other stuff. And what's it called? It was supposed to be like the Common Sense Party or something like that, or the Middle Party, or
MAGA couldn't even form its own party, which was like 1 million times bigger than this stupid little offshoot thing. If the
Tea Party had a chance, they had probably enough to make their own party, but once they got in, that was it. The only way you could form another party that's going to be able to work, especially because the rules that were put into place along with the ruling from the Supreme Court about the parties being able to spend money now to help candidates directly, it's going to be almost impossible. It's just going to be impossible unless you get a lot more Congress people, unless you open it up and you have 3,000 congressmen, then you'll have other parties.
What if they roll up their sleeves and really try?
They'll fail fantastically, and we'll get the laugh.
Because she's planning on rolling up her sleeves, which is kind of ironic because I don't remember ever seeing her wear sleeves. So, I don't know. What happened? That joke works better if it plays right away.
Conversations happening, looking at what are the mechanics of that and the reality of it. But up here, I'll also say this is it's going to take the American people to get involved. And the American people are the ones that really push campaigns. And so if the American people truly want to give a strong challenge to the failed two-party system of America, then they're going to have to step up, because it's not going to be a couple of players like Tucker and I and a few others that can roll up our sleeves and get this done. It's going to take a serious effort from everyone.
I mean, you're talking there about a third party, and that has all the difficulties that you've outlined. Is there another scenario where...
Why do they keep saying third party too, Joe? Because there are third parties. There's fourth parties. You've got the libertarians. You've got the fucking green parties. There's tons of parties.
There are tons of parties. They
just want a party that they control so they can control the money. That's what they want. She was upset that she didn't get the money of the Republican Party to back her to become the senator or governor of Georgia, whatever the fuck it was she wanted to do. And Trump told her, you can't win statewide, honey. I don't know what to tell you. And she didn't like that.
This is the brains of the party right here. Right here. Go grab your Candace Owens and be shouting from the rooftops about how Israelis were killing Trump. We're using road microphones to kill Charlie Kirk and the other nonsense. I mean, it's just astonishing. It's astonishing that there's so many people. And here's the problem. Okay, we can laugh at this, but the reality is, if you have 5% of MAGA joining this, even just 5%, that could be the difference in the election outcomes in 2026.
Yeah, No Labels Party. That was the party I was thinking of. It was like, remember, it was like that old No Labels Party. Those people trying to push. They were like intellectual dark web type weirdos, and wasn't Ben Shapiro part of that too? I think something like these. They were like, didn't never like Trump. They were like Daily Wire people, I think. They were like this. Dave Rubin. They were trying to get behind it, and it was before Rubin went full MAGA.
Before he went full MAGA, which
was like 2022, 2023, they were trying to push this like No Labels Party.
I remember the phrase. I just didn't remember it. It was like such a blip that I never really thought about it. You didn't even know when you just made reference to that name that I was about to be that was the next clip we were going to.
No,
was Ben Shapiro.
So here's the thing. I hope Tucker launches a third party. Why? Because it'll get crushed.
Why does his mustache look like that? That mustache in the center of his mouth looks like he's trying to pretend he knows how to paint. You don't see it?
No, he has facial hair.
No, I see a little tiny mustache.
The darkness in there.
I don't know. I see. That's all I can see. I can't stop seeing it now.
I don't know. I don't think that this beard suits him well. I will tell you that today, I mentioned it was a Jewish fast day. It's the start of a period called the 3 weeks, during which there are issues about shaving, because it's a period of mourning, which culminates on Tisha B'Av, which is 3 weeks from, today. And it's a period when we don't shave. So I'm wondering if he's gonna just be growing this thing out. I think it's not like it's verboten to shave. It's like you can shave for work if it's necessary. So if he does shave, it's not a reflection on his abandoning the faith or anything like that. It's a rabbinically accepted practice not to shave, but if people needed to shave for work, which he certainly could get such a dispensation if he was so inclined.
Get crushed. I would love to see a clean referendum on Tucker's perverse views, but he's not going to do that. That's not actually the game. Here's the game.
And I think that he's right. Ask yourself this: what is their platform specifically? You can. It's okay. We need to sort of stop for a second and just think. You have, when you're starting any corporation or you're starting anything, you have your overarching agenda, but then you actually have to boil that down into how are we getting to
like a mission statement.
Exactly. So saying you want to do things that are putting American interests first, that's a nice mission statement. But now you sort of have to boil that down into what policies you're looking to embrace.
Tucker would be more Muslim immigration?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's what Tucker's would be. More people from the Middle East. We need more.
Yeah. Well, it could be that. But the point is, that's not what he's going to be saying. You sort of have to break down, like, okay, I want to have, you don't just say things like we want lower housing. You sort of have to say, like, what is the focus here? Like, is it about, like, if I was starting a political party, which I do not, I think that's a little less likely than me actually needing to use my manifesto. So, but I'll tell you right now, like, I would focus on education, like that. We basically
Definitely education,
destroy
transportation,
destroy or just rework the entire education system to be a lot more like a lot more practical and pragmatic.
I would focus on education, transportation, specifically air travel. I would design to give free helicopter rides to all the counties.
And what I'm saying is, you don't just say we're making America better, and you don't just say we're going to cut off ties with Israel. We're going to get into power, cut off ties with Israel, which I'm sure they would say. But now what? Like, okay, fine, we cut off ties. Now what? You sort of have to have, at least the socialists have an idea. Like, they sort of have something they can point to and say,
yeah, we're going to steal all your shit and give it to people. That's their idea.
We're going to redistribute equitably. So that's what they're about. Just saying you're putting American interests first, that doesn't mean anything at all. Let me just get more in here with Ben.
Tucker knows, Tucker sees that Republicans are probably going to have a bad 26. What he wants is to say that the reason that Republicans had a bad 26 is because they alienated key people like him. And thus, if you wish to win in 28, you need to shift the entire policy making direction of the party back in Tucker Carlson's direction. Tucker is not launching the Reform Party. Tucker is launching the DSA or the TSA, the Tucker Socialists of America. His goal is for Republicans to lose in 2026. He wants, he's not hiding the ball here. He has said he's not voting Republican. He wants Republicans to lose. He is here to demoralize conservatives prior to 2026. That is the goal. The worse Republicans do, the more Tucker can then try and pretend that the reason Republicans lost is because they disappointed voters like Tucker Carlson. Now, again, the reality is that if Republicans lose in 26, there will be a lot of factors. It's an off-year election. Trump is unpopular and has been unpopular for legitimately a year at this point. But if Republicans don't do well in 2026, it's not because Tucker and his 5 friends didn't vote for Republicans, but that's the entire game. The entire game is to say, I'm launching a third party because there's so much anger.
It's not Tucker and his 5 friends. It's Tucker and that circle, that little circle that I was talking about. And that's why I said 5% is enough to cost us significantly in elections. So
much upset that my third party is a legitimate force in American politics, but he's not going to do that because that would actually test the proposition. He's not going to do that. That is the goal. Don't you see? Don't you get it? You need us, Republican Party. You must shift all of your policy prescriptions over toward the pro-Putin, pro-Iran, pro-China, anti-America side. You have to do that. What Tucker is doing here is not launching some sort of rival to the Republican Party. He's standing outside the Republican Party and then saying that because they didn't hand it to him, that's why we lost. That's the goal. And that is just yet another reason why we actually have to fight, because people who care about the country, people who deeply care about those fundamental principles of America, the stuff we're going to be celebrating this weekend, we actually have to fight 2 forces. One is the left, along with the DSA, and the other is the force of their twisted allies on the woke right, who are holding hands with them, who are hugging them. There is a reason why Tucker Carlson and Cenk Uygur are hugging buddies now. Our principles matter. Some of us have had the same principles for our entire political careers. Some of us have never moved, not one iota. Some of us have always defended private property and free markets. Some of us have always defended peace through strength. Some of us have always defended traditional virtue and traditional values. Some of us have not moved. We've been here the entire time. That is why the Daily Wire exists. It's why it was founded.
So this is him, I think, trying to defend from all the criticism that he is personally been getting.
Now, I don't understand why this, like, saying pro-Putin, like, I can make the argument that the United States would be better off if we had better relations with Russians. Like, we should care about having better relations with Russia than having good relations with Ukraine. Like,
100%.
But China's our fucking enemy. And until we realize that, like the shit coming out about all the stuff they're doing, how they infiltrated our court system, training judges, and they like set up a fucking NGO that's been training judges on how to rule. That's insane.
We have more in common with Russia than we have with the EU.
Oh, totally. 100%. I mean, I'm not saying, oh, I back Putin, assassinate people, or do this, or start war. No, but
no, I think he's evil. But I'm saying the Russian population.
Yeah,
we have much more in common with Russian culture and the Russian population than we have with the EU. I mean, the Russian culture. You think that they would? I will never forgive Paris, and I shouldn't say not forgive. I'll never forget that Parisian display in the Olympics, where they basically have fat queer dudes and little children, you know, like naked in a mockery of the Last Supper, with little kids there. I mean, everything about them is just, this is not a culture that's healthy. It's a self-destructive culture, and it's a very anti-religion culture, purposefully anti-religion culture, and that's not. And Russian culture actually embraces religion, which is interesting considering that communism rejects it. But but that's part of the reason. Probably that was part of the reason communism wasn't really such a good fit there. Probably would fit. Socialism fits a lot better in the EU because they don't really care about religion anymore. So what I'm saying is, yeah, does that mean that I'm saying Putin's not a terrible human being? I'm sure if half the things they say about him are true, he's a terrible human being. But that doesn't mean he's someone we have to be like going to war with because he's the one who's leading Russia. It's a stupid, childish perspective.
Has he done worse things than American presidents?
I don't know. They say he's a former member of the KGB. I'll ask you right now. I mean, I know that there was this one guy, Navalny, I think, who he killed, who was a political enemy of his. I think it was Alexei Navalny, who he basically.
You saw the explosion in Monaco, right? Over the week, a couple days ago, there was an explosion at a hotel in Monaco. Someone planted a bomb and killed a Ukrainian guy who was one of the opponents, one of the people who was a critic of Zelensky. They killed him and his wife and daughter with a bomb.
Really?
Yeah, just a couple days ago. Who blew up the pipeline? Germany just charged the Ukrainian with blowing up the fucking pipeline.
Yeah, I'm sure Ukraine did that. I'm sure that was Ukraine. Kimmy's saying, my theory on Tucker, alcohol, fell off the wagon, plus incredible ego mixed with bipolar. I think he's self-medicating to soothe his conscience for the sellout betrayal he's committing. Maybe. I don't know. Kimmy, did you see the new thing I have coming out with a bit? I forgot to mention when I was talking about this. And I need to promote this more. So I am going to mention this one or two more times during the course of the show, because I think that I'm very, very excited about this project that I'm working on, and I really want people to get behind it, where I'm basically creating a video, and I'm giving a discount to my OG. So folks like Kimmy or anyone, I basically consider OG anyone who's been around for 2 years, where I give them a nicely discounted rate on what I'm from anyone else to sort of show my appreciation to them. So all my OG, like Kimmy, like Nana Knows, anyone who's been around for 2 years or longer. And I even said people who are newer, who are like Wellesley, like I'm giving them a discounted rate. But I think I don't know, it could be. I think that he wants attention. That's really what I think it is. I think he wants attention. I think attention is very, very important. Joe V, another OG guy here, Joe V. Happy 250, America, amen. Wellesley's saying, with the woke right now, we'll know who believed in QAnon. It's true. It's hard to tell. Christine Duer. It's crazy how much MTG, Tucker, and Candace completely changed or are great actors in the past 6 years. I really liked all three of them. Same. It's very, very frustrating. It's very, very, very frustrating. Because they basically destroyed what could have been like an amazing win because they're upset about one or two issues. I mean, let's break it down. What are they upset about? They're upset about, Israel/Iran, and they're upset about the Epstein files. So because of that, everything that Trump has done, they're basically making him out as if he's like worse than Biden. I mean, think of how nuts that is. I mean, this is a guy who shut down the border. This is a guy who's deporting people. They say over the last couple of days he rounded up another 10. He's been rounding up, I don't know, 10,000 illegals a day. This is a person who's changing everything culturally with respect to DEI, fighting against socialism. I mean, he's like the freaking Lone Ranger while he's fending off hundreds of woke judges. I mean, it's what he's doing here is remarkable. So you disagree with him about the Iran war? I can understand that. I frankly want him out of Iran now. I'm like, it's been there too long. I've been saying I want him out. So I said I want him out on my birthday. That's the latest. And we're now coming to July 4th, and we're still dealing with Iran and giving them more extensions and more. And I think it's a mistake. I don't think it's the right move. But I'll tell you that the foreign policy he's engaged in, you take out the Iran story, his foreign policy has been impeccable, and he still has a chance to repair and deal with the Iran thing before it actually causes any sort of serious damage to the GOP politically.
Did you hear the latest rumor about Iran thing?
What's that?
Supposedly Trump told the Iranians, hey, listen, if you guys keep fucking around, the Israelis are going to kill you, and there's nothing we can do about it. To the negotiators.
Are you going to kill you individually?
Yeah, the Israelis are going to get you. There's nothing. If you keep fucking around, we're not going to be able to stop them. So
that's funny. That's funny. Yeah. So I think it's a shame how they've just completely destroyed all the momentum and made it as if Trump should be defensive about the work that he's done, because they had literally two issues that they have: Epstein and Iran/Israel. So I think it's sad, and it's difficult to comprehend. It's really, really difficult to comprehend. And Kimmy could be correct. I don't know. I don't really. I think that for a lot of them, there's big money, there's big growth. For Candace Owens, for example, there's big growth with respect to her channel, the money she was raking in millions of dollars a month, just in the views alone on YouTube. That doesn't count all the other platforms she's on, the merch she's selling, and the sponsorships. I mean, she basically made herself someone who's. I think that she probably has made over $100 million just laying in on Charlie Kirk, and has gained influence beyond anything that her pea-sized brain should ever have acquired, just by turning into a demonic force with her stupid I have questions, which don't ever have answers. And her
1 second, I gotta let the cat out.
Yeah. Let's see. I wanted to share this with you guys also. Before I move on to Newsom, which we're going to be moving on to next. Scott Jennings. He's awesome. He's so good at what he does.
These are not bipartisan, and it seems to be more of a celebration of him than it is of our country.
Scott, you were at the event today at the Roosevelt Library, which looks awesome. How do you think 250 is going compared to what the president wanted it to be?
Well, if I first just may say a word for the Teddy Roosevelt Library, it was well attended today. The president spoke to several hundred people at the library, and then he had a huge crowd in the amphitheater here, which if you've never come to Medora, is one of the most unique and interesting places in the United States. But I think America 250 is a great thing for our country, and I think the president's right to lean into it. And I think there's a very simple explanation about some of the attendance, and it's because, and you can see it in the polling. Don't take my word for it. Ask the Gallup poll, ask NBC News poll. We have a patriotism gap in this country. Republicans love this country. They're patriotic about this country, and Democrats aren't. They just aren't. They're not proud to be Americans, and therefore they're not interested in celebrating America's 250th birthday. And I don't think it's all about Donald Trump. This has been a steady downward trend for the last 25 years. And it's sad, but we've got two parties in this country. One loves it, and one appears to be hating it more and more by the year. And I think that is a sad.
It's also since Obama. Ever since Obama went on his world tour, like apologizing for America, it's been this: we suck. We're terrible. We're racist. We're slave-holding racists, evil, blowing up brown people, imperialistic, terrible, killing the Indians, terrible, terrible. We're uniquely terrible.
I think it actually started before Obama, though. Because it started in the schools in the 90s when they started changing the way that they were teaching teachers about how America was bad and evil colonizers, and so that got into, and then it got passed out into the the elementary schools and the high schools and the colleges. And so now we have this generation of people who grew up that believe this shit, that, oh, America's a terrible place. Look what it did to all these people. It just goes around the world, does whatever it wants. It hurts people, kills people, does nothing but it's just about greed.
You're making a very interesting point.
It got worse with Obama because it became racial with Obama, but it was never about race before Obama. It was just about America was bad. Because there was a report 3 days ago from the Associated Press about how the generation divide with African Americans about flying the flag. And if you're an African American that's above the age of, say, 55, you're patriotic, you fly the flag, you believe in America and all the things. And, America was a place where my great grandfather was able to, do this after slavery became free and did all this stuff, the great stuff. But younger people are like, oh no, America's just evil, racist place. I'd never fly that flag. It's like 80% of under 55 African Americans will never fly the flag.
You're raising a very, very interesting point here. A very interesting point. And it's been a long time since I talked about this, but I think it's a worthwhile conversation. When you raise the 90s, so my teen years was in the 80s, and the 90s was flipping down on its head. The 80s was all about America is the greatest. Under Reagan, it was about, American exceptionalism was all the rage in the 80s. And in fact, the phrase was greed is good. Like which came from a character in a movie called Wall Street, played by Michael Douglas, named Gordon Gekko. He was an evil character in it, but that phrase, greed is good, is something that America embraced in the 80s. In the 90s.
Why was he evil?
Well, he was portrayed as being evil. It was, his adversary was Charlie Sheen in the movie. Not Charlie, Charlie's dad. What's his name? What's Charlie Sheen? Martin Sheen. So Martin Sheen and who else was in that? Martin Sheen was the dad, and the son was the one I think who got screwed over. Basically, he was someone who he would buy up companies and then lay everyone off when he basically would make more money selling off the parts of the companies. And so he was a Wall Street investor who would buy up companies and made promises about how things are going to be great for the company. And then if he saw that he could make an extra 10 cents by breaking up the company, he had no compunction about doing that. But in the business meeting where he's trying to motivate them, he tells them greed is good. Anyway, but the reason the contrast was in the 90s, where you even saw it culturally with our music, right? Where the entire generation there was like the second half of Generation X was much more about how we suck. Green Day became really popular with their American Reject, and all the songs, entire pop. You've picked any of the top 100 songs from the 90s, and there's at least a 50-50 shot you're going to hear a song like "I'm a Loser," like literally "I'm a Loser," or something else about how I suck, my life sucks. It's the exact opposite of. Dazed and Confused was like a very big movie in the 90s. It was the exact opposite culture. It was a culture where parents of kids in the 90s started going for the whole trophy award thing, where basically, oh yeah, no, you didn't win, but you participated, Timmy. You're really good, which doesn't breed exceptionalism. That breeds self-soothing and actually is the exact opposite of greed is good. It's a matter of saying, you know, even if you're a loser, you're still a winner. You're all winners, you know, as opposed to pushing people to push themselves, say, no, I'm going to succeed. So I think that when Obama was basically courting people in the public in 2008, a lot of them had spent a great deal of time, especially when you consider 9/11 happening. So they had spent a great deal of time because there was a rekindling back towards American exceptionalism right after 9/11. And it's like, no, we're not going to take it. So that we sort of, we're going to go out there. We're going to kill those towel heads for what they did to the World Trade Center. And they had the audacity of attacking us. And we're going to blow up all their caves. And we're going to march over into the Middle East, kill bin Laden, and destroy basically destroy every Islamo-fascist out there. And then when we saw that there were lies, as far as what motivates to go into war and the lies about WMDs, and that even when we win, it doesn't feel like we're winning because we're not killing bin Laden. And you have the voting bloc at this point now started incorporating a bunch of people who were from the 90s, who were basically I'm a loser, and that whole cultural mentality. So I think that if we're looking at American history over the last 40 years or so, you can sort of see how the seeds of the 90s helped breed in what we got in Barack Obama. And he just put his foot on the gas as far as making us self-flagellate and hate ourselves and basically say we suck. And that's what the Democratic Party basically dove into. And in particular, the people who are the suckiest of the sucky are the white people. And that's basically what he was breeding there until eventually, the Republicans are like, F this, I don't care if you call me a racist anymore. And there was sort of, through MAGA, a little bit of return towards American exceptionalism. Now we see with the woke right that they're basically like, no, we've been lied to, and we thought we had a chance with Trump, but he lied to us also. And there's sort of it's coming back to this cycle of we all suck, we hate ourselves, and we hate everything about the government, we hate everything about our lives, and we distrust everyone, and we're really cool for basically distrusting everyone, even Trump. That's where we're seeing a rise right here in a nutshell.
There was a lot of weird stuff that happened after 9/11. Like the first couple of years, it was good, but then once they started to going into Iraq was a mistake. I mean, it's fundamentally was a mistake to go into Iraq over 9/11. Right.
And they lied to us about WMDs. They lied to us.
We would have been better off going into Iran over 9/11 than going into Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. But besides that, there was other things that were coming out. The Fed, the problems that were happening in the monetary markets and stuff like that. All this stuff really came to a head in 2006, 2007, 2008. There was videos that got put out, a lot of the videos that got put out about the Fed. I don't know if you ever remember, with the whole Ron Paul revolution that was coming up right around 2004. And then again in 2008, Ron Paul was trying to, become president. And loose change was one of the things talking about what the Fed, basically how we've all been robbed by the Fed over the past 80 years. They've just been causing inflation, which basically is a tax on all of us without us even knowing about it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's what, in my opinion, it made people not wait a minute, the whole government's corrupt and crooked and they're just fucking robbing us. And then along came Obama that said, oh, hope and change, we're going to make all this stuff and do great. And then he didn't really do anything different except for just decided different places he wanted to spend the money. He bombed more people and, droned the shit out of people, killed American citizens. So it wasn't really
he was far more, he was more discreet in how, in how much he savored his tyranny. He puts on this warm front to everyone, but you're right, he's bombing everyone. He puts on this warm front about how, he's really trying to fix everything. Oh, I'm just really trying to fix everything here. And then, he just he's weaponizing the IRS to go after his political enemies. Behind the scenes, the Obama behind the scenes is the darkest figure imaginable. That's the guy who's unleashing his intelligence community against an incoming president. That's the guy who's weaponizing the DOJ and not only the DOJ, but the IRS and every other agency he could to try and investigate. I mean, to try and investigate his political opponents. That's a guy who's not declaring war. He's just dropping drones like he's like, you know, he can't stop hitting that button like he's playing a freaking video game. So,
you know, and a lot of people say like we're worried about, like I'm very worried about these Chinese, you know, Manchurian candidate type people that are going to come into the country in the next 15, 20 years that have been living in China their whole life, but were born in the U.S., so U.S. citizens, and they're going to end up running for office. But we kind of had that already with a guy named Barry Soetoro, who was raised in madrasas in Indonesia.
Yeah, well,
whose stepfather was part of, you know, the company that, you know.
I'm hopeful that maybe we'll get legislation denaturalizing these folks, because that's really
awesome. Something's got to change. We need some more changes, because the Supreme Court already made their ruling, and the ruling is what the ruling is, unless you got enough votes to change it.
Well, first and foremost, the ruling is what the ruling is. That doesn't mean that just because they were given their citizenship doesn't mean their citizenship can't be stripped from them. An American can be denaturalized.
No, not a natural-born citizen. You can't be denaturalized. You're a natural-born citizen. You would be stateless. You have no other country.
Yeah, but over here we're not talking about people who are stateless, are we? We're talking about people who are offspring to foreign nationals.
The Supreme Court ruling would have to change, because as of right now, there was 5 votes.
I understand. Look, I understand exactly, very, very well. I'm well aware that there were 5 votes, which were implying that constitutionally, that's what, you know, that they're.
I can't believe that Amy Coney Barrett and John Roberts agreed with Ketanji Brown Jackson that if you go to fucking Japan and steal a wallet, that means you could be a Japanese citizen. Because that's basically what the fucking ruling was. Sorry.
That wasn't exactly what the ruling was.
Yeah, pretty much.
Master debate a proposal, world tour apologizing for Obama. I like it. I'm so sorry about Obama. I'm so sorry that he droned the hell out of you. Mark Gruber says Tucker is self-professed cold turkey white knuckle alcoholic. He quit without help, which he says never works. He has the signs. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Anchor babies. Finally, a group of fetuses which Democrats don't want to dismember. It's so true. It's so true. How is it not America's interest to prevent Iran from getting a nuke? Same way it isn't America's interest to believe the lies about WMDs and that Saddam had ties to Al-Qaeda. See the last 30 years. So what you're saying is, and I understand that where the cynicism is coming from, as I said, when they lied to us about WMDs, what you're saying is that now we can never, ever trust our government again.
Iraq did have WMDs. We did find chemical and biological weapons. The facts are there. Look it up. They had them. They used them. They gassed the Kurds, remember?
So, yeah, it's nice that Iraq didn't have anything, but yeah, I mean, what do you say to the fact that there definitely was nuclear material in Iran? So that's why I understand the cynicism, but cynicism doesn't mean that someone crying wolf all the time doesn't mean there's never a wolf.
No,
and
Iraq did have WMDs, Joe.
Over here we have
Iraq did. They just didn't have a nuclear program. It wasn't active. That's all.
Over here, that's what I'm saying, is like, just because someone's screaming wolf all the time and sometimes it's not true, that doesn't mean there are no wolves out there, or that occasionally there isn't a wolf. Now, he would respond back to me, likely, that, we kept hearing about for 30 years about how they're going to have a nuclear weapon, but you're just ignoring the fact that they did. So
why did they since this great JCPOA that Obama did, remember, part of that deal was that they could keep increasing the number of centrifuges they could have every year until the 10 years expired, and then they were free from it to do whatever, which would have expired already, and they would have had to bomb if it wasn't other things put in place by Trump the first time and pressure on them and watch and doing all this other stuff. But they were close. They probably just, believe it or not, they probably did not have the technological ability to actually miniaturize it and put it on a missile, and nobody wanted to give it to them because they know they're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Even the Pakistanis didn't share it with them.
I'm grateful to be American and not be tracked by drones. Amen. tonight's a good night for us to celebrate that. This is my last show before we hit our 250th anniversary, because obviously I'm not going to be here tomorrow evening, July 3rd. I'm also not going to be here on July 4th. So this is my last show. If you want to express your gratitude for being an American, I think that there is no better time for it. I'll also remind you that in celebration of our 250th anniversary, I'm offering a 25% discount on all merch in my store, which you see in links in the description in the chat for my merchandise, because I'm very excited about America 250, as we all should be. We are a country. We should be so proud of being Americans, and it's a shame that there are people like this. We stopped in the middle of the clip, but it's a shame that there are people like this, so that Scott Jennings is actually describing nearly half the country here about how they just don't appreciate what we have.
We live in the greatest country in the world. The president proclaims that message all the time, and that's something that ought to unify all Americans, but Democrats just can't seem to get behind.
But Scott, isn't the president proclaiming his face all the time? I mean, it's up on front of the Justice Department. He's remaking Washington in his image with his name on things. Isn't that part of the issue? I mean, you're saying it's hate of the country. I don't hear a lot of hate of the country from people who are Democrats in DC. It's dislike of the president.
No, they hate the country. They don't want to fly the flags. There's polls from CNN that I shared yesterday, which say that only 36% of them will say that they're proud to be American. So yeah, they hate the country.
Well, I would encourage you to listen to some of the interviews that have been given by the Democrat.
I hated Biden, but I never once thought or said I hate America because Biden's the president. It's the stupidest cop-out imaginable.
Candidates who have recently won primaries, and I would encourage you to read the polling that's come out just this week, in the last few days, from the Gallup organization about the patriotism gap that exists. I'm sorry to tell you, Republicans love this country, and they always love it no matter who's in charge. And look, yes, Donald Trump has put his picture on things. I hate to break the news. He's the president of the United States, and he's going to be part of things going on with our government. And our government should be doing things to celebrate the country's 250th birthday. And he's the president, and he's going to be part of it. And the fact that they cannot accept that, or that they would use that as an excuse not to celebrate this country, is pretty sad, in my opinion.
He's right. It's very, very sad.
And he's delusional if he thinks they're not saying they don't support America. I mean, they're specifically saying they won't hang the flag. They're hanging the flag upside down in San Mateo, California. They're flying the Somali flag in Buffalo and other places.
And not celebrating July 4th.
Yeah, they're canceling July 4th celebrations. Where was it? Some other town. I can't. There's so many of them where we're not going to have July 4th celebrations because we're going to have it in August to celebrate this other thing for this other country. What?
Pathetic. Just go. If that's what you think about another country is better, then go. Revoke your citizenship and go. None of them ever do that. I mean, Rosie O'Donnell, give her credit. At least she went to Ireland. These people they're out of their freaking minds.
She came back though.
Did she?
Yeah.
Did she?
I thought so. I thought I saw she came back. It got too crazy there with all the immigrants or something. It was a little too.
What do I think of Dershowitz's claim that the dicta about the 14th is not ironclad? Okay. I don't know if I saved it here. I don't know if I saved it. Did I save it? I'm not sure. It's been on this side attachment here. It was actually Clarence Thomas. I saw it and I was like, oh, this is a really interesting, nice long clip from him. Oh, I didn't save it. I'm sorry. Okay, so I didn't see the full. Yesterday I had like a 2-minute clip of Dershowitz talking on Megyn Kelly's show. So I don't know exactly what he said about the dicta. It's that the dicta about the 14th is not ironclad. So when you're saying, I'm not sure what dicta he's referring to. He's referring to Won Kim Ark. Is he is he talking about in this decision, the dicta in this decision? Dicta can only be in decision. If you're unfamiliar with the term dicta, I should clarify what this is. Plural of dicta is dictum.
Doesn't that mean it's just something that's not central to the holding?
Correct. So because justices are often very wordy in their decisions, so sometimes they'll throw stuff out and that, other people that are not considered, that's why we got to where we're holding, but it's just part of like their whole background of like their perspective of things, which they say is not something that can be relied on to say because of what this statement, this one line from some decision that came out 50 years ago, that now is part of the holding. It's a line, but it's not central to the holding, and the holding stands even if you cross that line out. You can't really rely on that and say that element to what was written in the decision, even if it's part of the majority, is something that is binding for a future court or is becomes law as a result.
This whole thing didn't make a lot of sense to me anyway, Joe. But because Roberts is notorious for being really like narrow and not like they shouldn't have addressed this the way they did. It's like way out of character for the Supreme Court, especially him. The way that they basically did this, they didn't have to do it the way they did and basically say, nope, these people are all citizens. Fuck you. Because that's kind of what they did.
I spent a full hour and a half going through the decision the night it came out. Someone was telling me it was like too long. The video was like 3.5 hours. If you really want to find what I was talking about, it starts like 30 minutes in and goes to like around the 2-hour mark is when I was really breaking down the decision. I spent a lot of time breaking down the logic of the majority, the concurrence of Kavanaugh, and what he was saying and why he was distinguishing his perspective from that of the majority. And I spent some time going through and skipping around Clarence Thomas and where he was coming from, and distinguishing that from what Alito was saying. So if you want to understand what the majority was saying, they were saying that their understanding is that when you're looking at the 14th Amendment, Article 14, Section 1 says that anyone born in this country, anyone born in America and subject to its jurisdiction is a citizen. The entire battle was what is subject to its jurisdiction actually mean. The logic that was employed by Roberts when he's writing this decision, you can read what he's saying. He feels like defensive because he knows the attack that he's getting from Thomas. And he's like, I'm not sure why you would be taking this I don't know why you're giving me such heat here. And what he just said is subject to jurisdiction. The broader you give the term subject to the jurisdiction, the more people it would cover. In other words, if you say, so jurisdiction means power, like they're under the authority of the United States. So the real question and the essential divide was, what does it mean to be under the control of the United States? And there's a lot of different ways that you can look at that. Now, Amy Coney Barrett and Roberts claim to be reading this from a textualist perspective. Textualist perspective being that if you read the word subject to jurisdiction, what does that mean? Well, you can be arrested if you commit a crime. They can do all sorts they could in theory hit you with taxes. So you're subject to the jurisdiction. The perspective of Kavanaugh is not that the 14th Amendment covers them. And they say, so who is that excluding? What are they looking to exclude when they write that? Well, they're looking to exclude specifically people who have no jurisdiction. But as soon as we have a little bit of jurisdiction, over them, now they can be their offspring are American citizens. When we have no jurisdiction over them,
makes no sense because it didn't include Indians.
They're a foreign minister. Well, you could say that they're not American soil. You can say that we
still have jurisdiction over them.
Right. Well, that's what they're saying. They're not American soil. So if they're not American soil, you're not born in America.
The reservations are American soil.
No, but that's the point is that you're looking at that piece in the middle of Nebraska as not being American soil because it's specifically given to the reservation. So it belongs not to the United States of America, it belongs to the Cherokee or the Navajo or the Susquehanna, whatever tribe you're talking about. They're the ones who possess that territory. So the kid born on that territory is not born in America. He's born in North America, but he's not born in the United States of America. From their perspective, that's how they're trying to read it. And they're saying the only people, unless that basically they were carving out and saying we don't have the right to try and claim that these offspring of a foreign minister who's let's say an ambassador from France comes here with his mistress or his wife or whomever, and she pops out a kid on our soil, then it's undignified for us to claim that this is now our citizen, but everyone else is ours. And the basis for that they came up with this logic was they said, well, that's the way it was in Great Britain, and that's what we brought over here from Great Britain, so it stays the same as Great Britain.
Their subjects in Britain are not citizens.
And that's the key distinction, which was nonsense, because when you're a president, when you're a king, which obviously that's what Great Britain was dealing with. You are a king. You want everyone to be under your subjects. You want everyone to be your subjects. You want everyone, all you need is, you're born in my territory. You belong to me. You are my servant. The nature of the relationship between a subject and a king is the subject is a servant of the king. He basically is at the king's disposal for whatever the hell the king jolly well pleases. And the majority is like, well, when did this change? And the answer to that question is given by Alito. It's given by Thomas. You know when it changed? It changed in 1776 when we broke away from them. It changed in 1789, certainly, when we passed the Bill of Rights and we say people are citizens, because a citizen has a particular relationship that they are choosing to be part of this state, rather than you have no choice, which is basically you are a slave to the king as a subject. This is, you have to make a choice. Now, if someone comes onto our soil and pops out a kid and they hate us, there was never any choice manifested that they have an interest in being part of our state. So you cannot become a citizen of a place you don't like and were never part of. It's a nature relationship, is because citizens are not servants of the state. Quite the contrary. We bet more than any other country in world history say that citizens are not part of the state. They're not servants of the state, that the state serves the servant. So what nonsense would it be for a country with that type of attitude, that the state serves the citizen, says we need to have more citizens even if they have no interest in being part of America? How insane is that perspective, particularly for the United States of America, which is saying that the government is a servant of the people? And yes, even if they hate the United States of America, we're your servants also. That's so contrary to everything about American philosophy. The other thing is that when it was first employed, it very clearly did not apply to a whole bunch of people that are not in the class that Robertson and Amy Coney Barrett say that would be covered by it. So what were they actually saying? Were they saying Chinese people who are born in our country who are not citizens, that their offspring will be citizens? That sounds kind of stupid. That sounds kind of insane. So what does the majority say to that? They say, well, let's look at the Wong Kim-ar case. The Wong Kim-ar case, you basically have two parents of Chinese origin at a time that this country didn't allow Chinese people to become American citizens. And this kid's born on our soil. His parents have a residential status unique to that period of time, where they basically are allowed to stay here, but can never, ever become citizens. Now their offspring leaves, goes to China, comes back when he's 20 years old, and he's like, I'm an American citizen. I was born on the soil. On the 14th Amendment, I have citizenship, and the country didn't want to let him in. And they end up saying, you're right. And you want to know why you're right? Because your parents made this their domicile. They made this their homeland. They had no ties to China anymore. And they had you at a period in time where they are basically engaging in a relationship with the state. So it's not that because you're born on the soil, it's just the opposite. It proves actually how wrong Barrett and Roberts are, because the nature of what the focus of Wong Kim-ar is that they were doing everything they humanly could to form that citizen-state relationship with the United States of America, and we didn't let them do that. But since he's born on our soil, so they said, okay, he's born on our soil, and they're trying to become part of the state. Now, that effort by them is what gives him that special privilege of being an American citizen. So, too, what Thomas is basically saying is it has to be your domicile. And that's not the only way. But if domicile means not just one of many residences, this is my principal residence. So if you have a domicile, what's the magic to a domicile? Why does a domicile mean you should become a citizen? The reason it means you become a citizen is because you are displaying your desire to have a relationship with the United States of America. That's what gives you the ability to become a citizen. This is all I'm giving you basically the logic of what they're saying. Now, Alito was a lot more focused on just how insane this holding is. And that doesn't make any sense to say 14 million people should be able to pop in and out of this country, and they should just be able to, they should be able to lift their skirts and step over onto our land, squat out a pair of twins, and now, hey, congratulations, we got 2 new American citizens, and then just bring them back home. That doesn't. Why the hell would anyone? That was not what they thought. That's not the law they thought they were making when they made the 14th Amendment. No one thought that's what it meant.
I wonder how
not a single person thought that.
I wonder how this applies to an invading army. Let's say the Chinese just invade, the Aleutian Islands and start pumping out babies. Are those going to be American citizens? Because the illegal aliens kids are citizens with no, wouldn't they also apply to an invading army?
It shouldn't, because because there is an exception in the 14th Amendment to unless it's an invasion.
Then why didn't we just declare an invasion already?
Well, that's another interesting argument. But anyway, I hope I brought that down for you, and to your satisfaction there, Detroit Steve. Derna saying, I opposed the Iraq war, but they lied. Thing is overblown. They said if there was a 1% chance of WMD, it's worth it, and 80% of Americans agreed. The reason people soured on GWOT is that they didn't want
Global War on Terror.
Oh, the Global War on Terror is that they didn't want to fight.
No, Iraq was fought stupidly. They should have never went in and did what they did. All right. They should have never basically declared that anyone that was part of the Ba'ath Party could no longer be part of government and it'd all be fired. If they would have went in and said, all right, you guys are the army, you're still the army. You guys are the police, you're still the police. You can't have this crazy dictator, have elections, do whatever. You guys are still in control, and left. That would have been it. That would have been over. It wouldn't have been Al Qaeda and whatever AQIP, whatever it was, Arabian AP, Al Qaeda, Arabian Peninsula, or ISIS. None of that would have happened, because those were all the people that got kicked out of government and told basically they had no choice. They were basically had death warrants on their head when people wanted to kill them. They had to fight.
Yeah. It is more like Trump is correct than Palms USA man in the 70s. He's talking responsibly for those mistakes. Iran, Moon, economic. Yeah. I'm proud to be an American where at least I know. I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free. So, I'm not seeing the next line. I won't give up my country for multiplicity. God bless the USA. Well said. Well said. Belated happy birthday to you, Joe. Thank you so much. And happy 250 to all our friends in the USA. Keep on rocking in the free world. Amen. Wait, where are you from? Where are you from, Goblin? I guess I should be able to tell from a little accent over the A that that's not American. But thank you. That's very thoughtful. Happy Independence Day, fellow subjects. Every intelligence agency said they weren't on their way to the nuke. Tulsi was smart enough to not perjure herself. No one has presented evidence they were working towards a bomb, just baseless claims.
They were enriching past 20%. That's working towards a bomb. There is no non-weapons reason to enrich uranium past 20%. Ever. No country that has ever enriched past 20% has not gone on to make a bomb. Every country who has.
They were at 67% or something.
Every country who has gone past 20% has made a bomb. Everyone.
Yeah. It's kind of a fly in the ointment of this whole they weren't making a bomb kind of thing.
The same fucking thing the North Koreans said and Bill Clinton said about North Korea right up until North Korea tested the fucking bomb.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying not to swear, and it just keeps happening.
No. I understand. Look, I've spent a lifetime training myself to not curse despite my complete rage. If that's what you need in order to express yourself when in moments of rage, I'm totally fine. You don't need to apologize. The 14th Amendment was written for freed black slaves. Their jurisdiction was purchased and owned by the U.S. They were freed and not citizens anywhere else. And that's a key element also. They were stateless. They were utterly stateless. These people are not. Iraq did have the gas we sold them. Everyone knew about that. We went because of evidence of WMDs that reports later confessed was made up. So that means that no Muslim fundamentalist is ever going to have a nuclear bomb. I mean, ask yourself what you're actually saying here. Just because no one's fighting with you about Iraq, okay? They lied to us about Iraq. They screamed wolf. There was no wolf. Does that mean that there are no wolves out there? Because that's not true. All you're saying is I don't trust the source when it's a completely different source compared to what we had literally 20 years ago. I understand it's United States government, but this is a whole different set of people in there. So you're saying you don't trust the source. And what I'm saying is, so when would you trust the source? How would you know? We have nothing else to rely on. And I think that it's also not like we're sending troops in there.
No, I said, I don't think we should have invaded Iraq. I think Iraq was a mistake. It was handled poorly. There was no reason for it. But the fact that just saying that there was lies about whatever like Saddam Hussein knew we were coming. Okay. And just like Iran sent planes to Pakistan right before we started bombing them, Iraqi planes fled to Iran prior to the attacks in 2003. So more than likely, if there was some stuff that Chemical Ali or these people had, we know they had chemical weapons. We know they had biological weapons. They used them. Iraq used them in the past. Now, the whole thing about yellow cake uranium, they know he was trying to buy it. Did he buy some? Did he send that to Iran? Who knows?
Hey, welcome, Jenna. Thank you for joining the following. Please be aware that the following is not at all a cult type of cult.
I personally think the only reason we went into Iraq is because George Bush was pissed off that supposedly he tried to kill his daddy.
It's possible. A lot of people speculate that. Iraq was fought stupidly, we still won. Al-Qaeda showed up after the fact when people still didn't go fight. Yeah. Jim, which of the global war on terror countries do you think we handled well?
None. Zero.
Iraq, Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Syria, Libya, Iran, Niger, Mali, Djibouti.
Goose egg. None. We should have never went into Afghanistan either. As soon as that happened, that day, when the planes hit, as soon as they knew it was Osama bin Laden and where he was, there should have been some W-87s dropped on his fucking head, in the whatever valley he was in where he was hiding before he was able to get out through the, Khyber Pass. And that should have been the end of it. It would have been the end of it. Up there he is. Did you see that mushroom cloud there in Afghanistan? There he was. That was him. Don't hit our buildings with planes anymore, because that's what'll happen. That should have been it.
That would have been effective.
But that wouldn't have made millions and billions of dollars for, Raytheon and Boeing and the rest of the companies. And,
Right. I also think comparing Iraq to what we're doing in Iran is ridiculous, because we don't have troops in Iran. So, the big thing that the big issue most people have with war, I can't speak for you. The big issue most people have with war is we're sending troops into harm's way. Now, I do believe that there are accidents that are possible, and obviously we've had too many losses, but it's not like they're engaging on the ground in Iraq or Iran. So, do I want our troops home? Yes, I do. I want our troops home today, yesterday. I want them home. So, I'm not happy about the war in Iran. Does that mean that I think, because of the war in Iran, now I'm going to turn on Trump? Now
We've had troops in the Persian Gulf for 50 years. There's always been troops there. They're there to protect the oil flows, because if they weren't there, the oil flows would stop because people would do stuff to it. We have troops protecting the ships going past Yemen so they're not attacked by the Yemeni Houthis. We have ships by Somalia so the Somali pirates don't take the commercial ships. I mean, the U.S. protects global shipping. That's what the U.S. Navy does. The fact is we're just a little bit overstretched right now, and we can't handle it. Sorry.
Have you all heard of the Port Huron Statement in 1962? I never heard of that before. This may be one major step in infiltrating the educational system with anti-American ideology. So my father points to the global oil crisis of the 1970s. and with respect to specifically the educational system. And he said that after they started basically price gouging us in the 70s, what they did was they basically created a marriage with American university systems, saying to countless American universities, we're going to give you tremendous grants of millions of dollars per year. We want you to create a pan-Arab division in your which is going to be chaired by people we select in your institution, and we'll give you $3 million a year, $5 million a year. They use the proceeds they started when they started enriching themselves with oil in the 70s by jacking up the prices. They use that to start basically embedding themselves into our institutions of higher learning and create a culture which was going to be pro-Arab. And ever since then, that's pretty much how what they've been controlling. Now, I always forget the name of that Russian defector who was talking about how communists have been doing that with respect to Bezimov, yeah, was saying that we have similar thing with socialism and communism, where basically that was part of Russian agenda, was to basically sow the ideas of socialism into our youth. And frankly, it's a brilliant target, because if you're young and don't appreciate history, and I was explaining this yesterday to the audience, I think yesterday, might have been 2 days ago.
So you think it happened in the 70s with the oil money, because a lot of people think it happened a lot earlier with the communists, because like that's where
that's what I'm saying is
whether underground came from all those people.
I think they borrowed from the communists. I think they borrowed from the communists, who were basically trying to spread socialism. And if you're young and you don't know anything about how disastrous, you don't appreciate it, how disastrous it's been historically, or you don't appreciate even the value of lessons of history, because you think, well, that was just because you had terrible people in Russia, or you had terrible people in Cuba, but we're good people. So, this could work with good people. So it's a very natural thing that you feel like I'm one of the good people, that I'm, as far as just let's share the wealth. It sounds like something, it's very easy if you're looking from a purely emotional, lacking in any sort of critical analysis perspective. Socialism is the easiest sell in the world. You have to actually be an a-hole. If you don't appreciate and think it through, you have to be an a-hole to say, this guy's got $1 trillion and there are people starving. There are people dying in the streets. There are homeless people, and this guy's got $1 trillion. He would never notice it if we took some of that money and gave it to him. So that notion is something that is very easy to sell to someone who feels like they're a good person. They're like, why does that seem like a good thing to do? That doesn't seem like it's helping society. These people, and they think that they're better. They think if I was in that position, I would be helping these people. That's what I would be doing if I had $1 trillion. They don't appreciate how much effort goes into making yourself wealthy, because they never had to make any money. So they don't appreciate how much effort goes into that. They don't appreciate that the redistribution process is always corrupted, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And if you put the state in charge of people's welfare and finances, the people at the top, even if they start off as good people, become evil. That is the nature of humanity. But they think of themselves as like, well, if I was there, or my friends were there, and we were running things, we would be doing this in a way that's really benefiting society, without recognizing that they themselves would become the very monsters that they may have heard about, destroying country after country which engage in socialism. That's one flaw in it. But there are countless other flaws with socialism, such as that when everything's being processed through the state, invariably you are crushing the desire of the human being, because we are motivated by greed. That's why the concept of greed is good, works so well, because that's what motivates on a base level. That's what motivates someone to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and kill themselves trying to build their company. And if you don't put that kind of effort in, you're not going to outshine everyone else. If you don't put that effort in, you don't put your own money in, you don't put your own blood, sweat, and tears into something, well, in that case, you're not going to see innovation. You're not going to see growth. especially if there's tons of red tape because it has to go through the state and everything has to be approved by some schmuck who doesn't know nearly as much about the business as you understand about it. So there's so much red tape, and you don't have the motivation to do it, because why would you do it when you're going to get the same? They're going to get the same housing, the same clothing, the same food, whether you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning or get up at 9 o'clock in the morning. The only difference is that at a certain point, they're like, no, you have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. When they see that happening, they say, well, you have to keep getting up at 6 in the morning. Otherwise, we're going to throw you in jail or kill you, because we need people to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So now you're pushed to do it. And that's where you end up becoming literally a slave to the state. So it starts off with all this hunky-dory, wonderful, warm vibes, kumbaya. Everyone's all excited, like we're looking out for our fellow man. But invariably, it must devolve into that. And the other problem with it is, even if it could work, even if it didn't have all of these different flaws, every one of these flaws which have proven every single time, the other problem with socialism, invariably, if you think about what the goal of socialism is, the goal of socialism is to make people miserable. Because if you have everything given to you, if we could do that for society, give people everything that they need, they don't feel as if they earned anything. You have to earn your own happiness. That's why when when the promise of the Constitution is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, you have those freedoms to pursue happiness, because no other person can give you happiness. The only person who can give you happiness is you, because you feel like you earned it. You did something that was accomplished. If someone just lifts you up at the start of a race and throws you at the back end of it, you didn't earn anything. You don't feel any pleasure out of it. You feel like a fraud. That's why if we could gift everyone this, the very people we'd be gifting it to ultimately be miserable. This is why children of the wealthy end up going to drugs and self-harm, because they don't feel accomplished. You have to put the sweat in, really bust your tail, and not be sure of the outcome. If you know what the outcome is at the end, there isn't any. The thrill of the ride is what makes you feel the accomplishment at the end. But people don't have ownership in something. If they don't own a piece of it or have some stake in it, they don't care about it. And that stake is their investment of effort and time and hard work. That's where you feel as if, like, I did something. This wasn't there, and it didn't have to come to be, and it only got there because I killed myself to make it like that. And if you feel as if I kill myself to do that tomorrow, it's not going to change anything about my life at all, then you're an idiot if you do it. So the only reason you're doing it is because there's a gun to your head, which is that. So, but the point is that you don't feel any sense of joy at all. You're existing. You're not living. You're just existing. If we could give everyone their house, their education, their food, and their basic needs on the Maslow scale. Every time Steve sends me $5, so I still have no idea what the hell the Port of Huron statement is. I don't know. You're very good at getting me going, Steve. You're really good at that. So we have citizens born jus soli, and those jus soli citizens can give birth to citizens who are jus sanguinis, and those can give birth to just sanguinis citizens. And in 100 years, we have 1 million equal non-soil citizens. Yep. Because think about it. These kids who are born on our soil, when they have kids, their kids are children of American citizens. So they might never set foot in here. And
isn't there some rule about I think it doesn't apply to the president, but I know for the Senate and for the House, there's rules about you have to be living inside the United States for a certain period of time before you can run for office, right?
14 years.
But I don't think that applies. Does that apply to natural born or just everyone, or is that just naturalized citizens?
That's if you want to run for president.
Well, no, president is natural born, right? It doesn't say say you have to be living 14 years in the United States to be a president too?
Yeah.
It does? Okay.
In the 14 years prior. You want to know one other thing that the Chinese have been doing, by the way, to infiltrate us, and it's going on for at least a decade?
I know it's...
I saw this today, and I was just like, this is from 2015. This is going to blow your mind. I had no idea this was going on. This is a report from 2015.
I know it's not my baby.
The child growing inside Audra Anderson will be going to parents in China.
Who are the future parents of this child you're carrying right now?
A Chinese gay couple. And
Please,
they
Jacob, that's
are
bullshit.
the most wonderful people that I know. They are loving and caring. And if I didn't think that, I wouldn't have given them 2 wonderful children.
We were sending.
I'm sure the 70 grand they paid her was a big deal.
Is not unusual. A growing number of women in the U.S. are becoming surrogates for wealthy Chinese couples. Agencies like West Coast Surrogacy in Irvine, California, are seeing a large influx of customers from overseas. In fact, 40% of their clients are from China.
For one, their child will be a U.S. citizen. I'm sure that has some draw to it.
你好.
There are other American companies trying to get in on this growing surrogacy industry. Unlike international adoption, there are very few rules governing international surrogacy.
It's unbelievable.
Here in a small desert town in Southern California, Audra Anderson says she's already considering carrying a 3rd surrogate child. She can earn from $35,000 to $45,000 for each baby.
It's insane.
Do you remember that? Like in you ever seen the series Band of Brothers on
Twice
HBO? Twice. All right, you know how after the Germans are beat and they get into Belgium and stuff, like Market Garden, they go into Belgium and you see the girls with their heads shaved and crying and carrying their little babies after they were liberated. You never still remember that? And like basically because they slept with Germans.
Oh. Okay.
Just saying.
All right. Do you think the frog is boiling or just warm? I think it's
Holland, not Belgium. Okay, whatever.
Now I remember it. Each man naturally understands if his countrymen have to fight, he has an obligation to. Not going is humiliation. If a man has to believe his country is evil to soothe the shame, he'll believe that. That's politics now. Yep. Uzelian says, Joe, I need to ask, why is no one was talking about this news story I just learned about? And it gives me a link to Zambia's toxic mind spell. Zambia's toxic mind spell. So if you really want to know the answer to the question to this, I have the answer. I have the perfect answer for you, Uzelian, as to why no one is talking about this story about Zambia's toxic mind spell, which is 30 times worse than initially reported.
Because it's in Zambia.
Yes. It's the first word. That's why no one cares. That's fine.
Who runs the mind? Probably the Chinese. So, oh well.
Yeah, because it's in Zambia. What the hell is that? Seriously, what are we looking at here? I didn't even hear about this story. The environmental catastrophe unfolding in Zambia has shocked experts as independent. Yeah. What happened to Sino Metals leached Zambia mine? Sino Metals is China.
China.
An independent assessment by environmental risk mitigation from Drizzt Zambia Limited has revealed approximately 1.5 million tons of toxic sludge was released from the Sino Metals leached Zambia Limited mine near Kitwe in northern Zambia, like filling 400 Olympic-sized swimming pools with hazardous material. Most alarmingly, the actual spill volume is approximately 30 times larger than the original government and company estimates, which claimed only 50,000 tons had been released. Video evidence and field data, it ranks among the mining industry's worst environmental concerns and mining disasters globally. I don't have time for this right now, personally. I don't know. I've literally only heard about this from you, and we're an hour and 48 minutes in. By the way,
don't know about the goal because
the goal only has one, right? It only shows one.
That's the counter's messed up. I did count them.
I count this at 11.
Right, but some of those were 20s, but I don't know how you want to count it. But don't forget, you did get 20 gifted memberships on Rumble. So I don't know how you want to count that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not telling you to count it. I'm just saying I don't know how you want to count that.
Yeah. So we got 11.
Okay.
Thank you for weighing in.
I'm just saying I'm not weighing in. I'm just giving you the facts. I'm not good at math, so I don't know. I don't know how that adds up.
What adds up is that we're an hour and 45 minutes in and we haven't gotten to story number 2, which is reported by Red State here. Well, this came to Jim's attention through Erica. Just dropped right before about Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff has been wearing a wire on behalf of the FBI for years. What? He's cooked. Before people claim, Trump, the wire wearing started under the Biden administration in June of 2024. Wow.
Biden and Kamala must have been really pissed off at Gavin Newsom, trying to push back on him, trying to run for president or something. Just saying.
The revelation she was wearing a wire as far back as June 2024 explains why a swath of Sacramento political insiders and lobbyists were stunned to receive FBI letters last fall informing them that their phone calls have been intercepted during the investigation, despite many having little or no connection to Williamson.
When did Biden drop out?
In July. I think it was right after, it was early to mid-July.
This was to keep Gavin from trying to push Kamala out of the way.
Well, I don't know, because he wouldn't have known about it. It's influence, so.
Oh, they would have told him.
Red State reporting, a Sacramento insider wore a wire in Dana Williamson Gavin Newsom probe. I don't think they would have told him. That doesn't add up to me. But back in November 2025, when we learned that California Governor Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, had been indicted in dozens of felony corruption charges, one thing that stood out to me was that one woman, the center of the scheme to divert approximately $225,000 in funds from then HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra's dormant campaign account, wasn't charged with a crime. Named as co-conspirator number 2 in the indictment, Alexis Podesta had taken over Williamson's book of business, including the Becerra account, when Williamson went to work for Newsom. Now, we know the possible reason why. According to Williamson's attorney, McGregor Scott, Podesta was wearing a wire as far back as June 2024. Scott said Alexis wore a wire and Dana did not. That would also explain why there was a detailed transcript of June 2024 conversation between Podesta and Williamson related to a lawsuit the state brought against Williamson's former clients, Activision. Williamson is charged with making false statements to investigators based on that conversation, in which she fed Podesta information about the state's moves. She also orchestrated a settlement and had the state's chief counsel fired after the council objected to the governor's interference. Now, again, this story broke like an hour before or less before
it broke late.
We went live.
Yeah.
So I'm still digesting what we're getting here. And so basically what we learned this evening is that she was wearing a wire, and that's what helped them nab Williamson.
There is 2 more links to it too. There's a link for who is this Alex Podesta person on New York Post, and then another link from the Post about the same story. Like I don't know. I didn't look into it. I'm wondering if she's related to John Podesta. You know, that's a very common name, Podesta. It's everywhere.
I'm gonna go through. We're gonna go through this. Whatchamacallit? Let's go through this entire thing. It looks like the co-conspirator number 2 in the Williamson complaint is Alexis Podesta, who served as Secretary of State, California's Business, Consumer Services, and Housing Agent under Governor Jerry Browning and Gavin Newsom. In 2020, Newsom appointed her to the State Compensation Insurance Fund Board of Directors. Podesta previously worked for Senator Dianne Feinstein. That is Podesta.
Got to be a daughter or something of either Tony or John Podesta. Got to be.
We'll see. Did this April 2024 political piece lead to the FBI IRS investigating into Gavin Newsom's then chief of staff and her co-conspirator, who was Xavier Becerra's chief of staff at that time? Becerra, former longtime member of Congress from Los Angeles and California, Attorney General, also has spent more than $130,000 over the last year for campaign consultants activity that has not previously been reported in the media. The political outreach and payments have occurred even as Becerra has continued to state publicly that he's solely focused on the cabinet job in Washington. Apparently, the campaign finance reports initially mistakenly listed the illustrious Podesta Group in DC as the firm receiving the payments, but it was actually Podesta's company in Sacramento being paid $10,000 a month to simply oversee the committee, which is saying that they basically were trying to bribe her by illegally funneling added money from their campaign coffers to induce her to come work. But as the firm received payments, but it was actually Bethesda company in Sacramento being paid $10,000 a month to simply oversee the committee. But as the indictment details, the money was really just being funneled through her to Sean McCluskey. That was the person they wanted, that they were getting the money to, Sean McCluskey. So the amount paid to Alexis Podesta's company raised at least one set of eyebrows, and the way the payments were characterized would violate the Hatch Act, according to a campaign ethics expert who talked to Politico back then. Delaney, which is the government's not supposed to be using its funds to promote a particular party. Delaney Marsco, director of ethics of the Campaign Legal Center, observed that Becerra spending $10,000 a month would be a very high cost to pay for an administrative keeping the account open type of thing. Yeah, it's very, why would an administrator be getting, why would they be giving an administrator $10,000 a month? From a separate political piece, cabinet members are prohibited under the Hatch Act from engaging in certain forms of political activity, including testing the waters for a future run for office. And that's basically what it seems as if the objective here was with Sean McCluskey, that they were supposed to be helping the future political careers of folks like Alex Becerra, which is why people were talking about this when Becerra was...
Xavier Becerra.
When Xavier Becerra was running for governor. These steps, and people are speculating he still might be indicted. These steps include making campaign expenditures, meeting to plan the logistics and strategy of a campaign, or giving others consent to do so, according to advisory opinions from the U.S. Office of Special Counsel. These types of preliminary activities are considered to be part and parcel of a candidacy for political office, said Delaney Marsco. While the Hatch Act depends heavily on specific facts and circumstances, Marsco noted that planning campaign logistics would fall under the Act. She also observed that Becerra spending $10,000 a month would be a very high cost to pay for administrative, keeping the account open type of thing. It would be hilarious if McCluskey outed his crime in the process of trying to help Becerra with the gubernatorial run. And I've heard from several people that Becerra isn't the type of enemy that you want. When I read Becerra's statement on the arrest plea deals, it sounded very godfathery to me. Quote, the news today of formal accusations of impropriety by a long-serving trusted advisor are a gut punch. Even though Dana Williamson is currently Newsom's former chief of staff, let's be clear, she committed these crimes while she was his chief of staff. And why would McCluskey go to her to hatch this plot to start with? Was she known for this kind of thing? I'm digging more, meaning who would have sent them over, McCluskey over to Williamson? It probably would have been Becerra or Newsom. Curious, and I don't have the answer. One of Dana Williamson's co-defendants, Sean McCluskey, worked with California DOJ as Xavier Becerra's chief of staff until early 2021, when he went to DC with Becerra and to be his chief of staff. So what is the other pay for? You know, $26,000 regular pay. Other pay is $80,000. That seems very, very shady. Here are McCluskey's salary records from 2017 and 2020 when he was Becerra's chief of staff. So he's getting his regular pay, and then he has his other pay over here. The part of the Williamson indictment that seems to be related to California's litigation against Activision and her interference in a suit and retaliation against those who stood away. Activision was her client when she joined Newsom's office, and she gave the account to Alexis Podesta. Where he's saying, in around April 2023, Williamson sent co-conspirator 2 information about a state government attorney who had been fired in connection with litigation, then followed up with phone conversations. And that co-conspirator number 2, we now know, is Alexis Podesta, who was wearing a wire. That's the whole point here. Then in 2024, a PRA request was filed requesting communications between Williamson, a lobbyist, Activision, and co-defendant Campbell. Williamson's conversation with Podesta about this is particularly transcribed below and really says everything about how government views FOIA requests. So Podesta said, right, also like F-her. Williamson said the funnier part was it was like any communication meetings with Greg Campbell. And I'm like, and the way that she wrote it could mean capture every, like, all the meetings just because she, like, disconnected representatives from, she's the third point. And so I was like, well, I'm effed if I have to produce all of that. I talk to these a-holes all the time. And then Podesta said, right, also like F her. Williams said, yeah, I know, F her, double F her. I mean, the PRA recipient office should play the same effing game they played and make them wait 3 years. That's about their FOIA. That's how they deal with FOIA requests. Then Williamson shared the name of the requester, and Podesta again said, F her, adding, they don't really know who they're messing with. Alexis Podesta and Dana Williamson worked together at PG&E. Yes, that PG&E from 2009-2011, when Williamson was director of public affairs and Podesta was special assistant to one of Williamson's BFFs, Nancy McFadden. All three of them joined Jerry Brown's administration in January of 2011. No wonder Podesta figured she needs to comply when Williamson wanted to carry out the arrangement. She had to bilk Xavier Becerra's dormant campaign account. Williamson then denied to federal investigators that she ever shared that type of information with people outside the administration. Podesta, who previously worked with Dianne Feinstein and held senior positions in former Governor Jerry Brown's administration, was appointed to the State Compensation Insurance Fund board by Newsom in 2020, which pays $61,000 a year, which that's not enough for her. She also previously worked for Disney and PG&E. At the time of Williamson's arrest, numerous Sacramento lobbyists and even office holders received letters from the FBI letting them know that some of their communications might have been intercepted as part of the probe. So she smelled that there might have been she thought that they were being wiretapped. She didn't realize that her friend was wearing a wire herself. Quote, some of the communications intercepted during the course of the investigation were from a phone number believed to be associated with you, the letter stated. Continuing, the letter does not necessarily mean you were the target of the investigation or that any criminal action will be taken against you. Rather, the purpose of the letter is to notify you that some of your communications may have been intercepted during the course of the investigation. Some of those who received the letters hadn't spoken to Williamson or Podesta, including Republican Josh Hoover, who told the California Post. If that's the case, they're going to be very busy for a very long time, and it won't be relaxing Independence weekend for most in Sacramento, to put it mildly. So, what are the ramifications for Newsom over here? But right now, he seems to be like a 2 steps removed from this entire thing, right? In other words, I don't know that this what we see, because and here's what we actually can take from this, which is, I understand it's very convoluted, especially if you're not really up to date about the entire indictment and charges that were brought against Williamson for her corruption.
Well, you never know what a wire is going to pick up.
That's exactly where I was going. Okay. So the first charges, the charges that we got basically relates to diverting election campaign funds improperly to a third party, and basically funneling that money from campaign funds in order to basically pay off friends to do what they want. But if she's wearing a wire and she's in these different circles, and now there's talk about there being a probe into Gavin Newsom, as he himself has claimed that he's learned to be the case, it makes you think, they may have picked up some stuff that they actually can use against him. And now we know that they actually, it might be tricky for him to try and squirm away if they actually have recordings of him saying things that are incriminating. So that's really the news of the day with respect to Gavin Newsom. Kamala and Merrick used more weaponized DOJ. Yeah, that's what they pretend. And so did Gavin. Gavin's like, oh, he's weaponizing the DOJ. Nana says, I'd pay good money to see Jim debate Darryl Cooper or Scott Horton on Iran, moderated by Joe.
Here's the thing. I'm a fan of Darryl Cooper and Scott Horton. All right. I disagree with, like, me and Scott Horton have gone back and forth about the USS Liberty and stuff on Twitter. I just know what the U.S. Navy taught me about the Liberty, and I don't know why. I mean, the government lied, I guess, to me and told me that it was a covert operation to spy, and we were pretending to be an Egyptian trawler when we got attacked. Hey, I don't know why the Navy told me that and lied to me when I was in the Navy.
They were trying to trick you.
They're tricking me, and they got me, and I'm fooled. It was the Jews when I was in the Navy.
That's the
Jews were running the Navy.
Paid them off to sell you that story.
Surprisingly, they fed us a lot of bacon in the Navy, though. Maybe it was turkey bacon.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to apprise you all of Tim Walz and what's going on with Tim Walz. Tim Walz, I'm telling you right now, this guy, I am so convinced that at some point in my life, probably after he's out of office, we are going to learn some of the very dark secrets. I'm going on record right now, okay? I'm not saying it's going to be next month, next week, next year. I'm not saying it's going to be even in 2 years. What I am saying is I will be surprised if there isn't some very, very, very dark revelation about his proclivities, things happening in his basement. This guy, I think, in my heart of hearts, I wouldn't say this about Gavin Newsom, and I hate Gavin Newsom. I think Gavin Newsom is a more dangerous person. There's something about his eyes. There's something about his face. There's something about the way he presents himself that gives me such a creepy vibe from Tim Walz. I will be shocked if we do not learn about some sort of really sick, twisted things in his life. I don't know. If
Why do you think he hired that guy to kill those people, Joe?
I don't know. Oh, you're saying that you're saying that guy who shot up
Bolter?
Lance Bolter, who shot up those Congress. I don't know. I'm not making that claim about him. I'm not saying he did that.
Well, I won't tell anybody, Joe. You tell me.
What I'm saying is I don't have any more information, and it's purely speculation based on my experience of studying and watching people.
Nobody on this show has any information that could lead to the Clintons' imprisonment.
I'm simply telling you, I think he don't accidentally become that creepy. I can't describe it. I just know creepy when I see it. And I'm telling you right now, my subjective opinion is that he actually is harming children or kidnapping people. I think there's something really sick or beating people. I think he has a really sick, twisted, dark, satanic
the way he
fetish.
grabbed his son on that stage, and
that was the moment I saw it. That was the moment I saw it.
This guy's got something evil streak.
That is not something. That's not something. I've never seen a healthy person handle their kid like that. I've never seen any. I've seen people handle a kid like that. They were never. They always had a very unhealthy mindset, and I'm just like, how do people not even realize this? That was it. The eyes also. There's something very, very dark and twisted about Tim Walz, but we don't know about that publicly. What we do know publicly about Tim Walz is this story here. Governor Tim Walz faces mass calls to resign after he pardoned an illegal alien child sexual predator with the Board of Pardons. This guy preyed on a 10-year-old for years. Tim Walz supports him. This is what we're getting from DHS.
Minnesota leaders of shielding an illegal immigrant child predator from deportation. This guy pleaded guilty to sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl in 2006. He was scheduled for deportation, but last month, Governor Tim Walz gave him a pardon. The DHS acting assistant secretary ripping the Democrat, saying, quote, Governor Tim Walz's decision to pardon an illegal alien convicted child rapist so he can remain in our country is disgusting. These are the criminal illegal aliens he and his Minnesota sanctuary politicians are protecting.
I don't understand how this protects him, though. What? So he's just been an illegal alien that's been in the country for 20 years and he gets to stay? No, he's still got to leave. What?
I had the same question. I had the exact same question. How's he protected by being pardoned?
And I didn't think the administrative courts, the immigration courts, they still know he was arrested for this. You don't need a conviction to be deported. You just get arrested and they deport you.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to end up working in the long run, but DHS is saying it's slowing him down from being able to just bounce him out.
Officials in a sanctuary state, Minnesota, over protecting an illegal immigrant.
Let's jack the volume a little bit. Jack the volume.
Grant convicted of repeatedly sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl. It's a hard story to talk about and to read about, but it happened and we need to tell you. Homeland Security accusing Governor Tim Walz of granting a pardon, effectively just wiping away his criminal record to help shield the man from a final order of deportation.
So Brooke Taylor is on that. She joins us now for more. And Brooke, what did you find out? Good morning.
Hi, Bill. Good morning. Well, Governor Tim Walz.
What probably happened, and I had to glean this myself, is you have to have a basis for deportation, and the basis that they had put down was that he had been convicted of a crime. So in the whole processing was they put him down as he had been convicted of a crime. But by pardoning him, it wiped that slate clean, so that they probably have to start the process. They restart the process in order to get him removed.
Facing major backlash for this. So he sits on the board that pardoned this convicted child sex offender as he was just about to be deported. So back in 2006, Tao Lee Vang right here, he was convicted of repeatedly sexually assaulting a 10-year-old girl in Minnesota. He pleaded guilty in a deal that kept him out of prison. DHS says that conviction cost him his legal status and made him deportable. Well, the details in these court documents, they're too graphic for me to repeat to you on air, but it describes the abuse spanning 2 years from the time the victim was 10 to just 12 years old. The girl told investigators she met Vang through her older sister, who he later married.
Which that might also help shield him from deportation. Right?
No.
So if he's married to an American?
No.
And isn't it sick that this woman married a guy who raped her sister for 2 years? I mean, how sickening are these people?
Investigators say he admitted, quote, "I made a mistake, but this is a minor thing. It's a
it was a minor. She was 10. She was a minor.
It's very much a minor thing.
Thailand to marry and have sex with girls as young as 12.
She was 10.
He also told police that the young victim should be arrested too because she was, quote, as much at fault.
This statement right here, this is the one that to me, I was just like, oh my God, the audacity.
But this is perfect. This is actually, I mean, I'm going to do my best Rahm Emanuel, whatever, what's the word I'm searching for, impression or channeling Rahm Emanuel here and say this crisis that Tim Walz has the gift that Tim Walz just gave to the Republican Party should be in every freaking ad for the midterms coming up, that this is who the Democrats are protecting. This is the Democrat Party. This was their standard bearer for vice president, Tim Walz, who says that rape a kid, stay here, we'll make it's okay, pardon you. This should be on every ad. This should be everywhere, running round the clock.
100%.
Hanging on their necks.
100%.
Now, according to DHS, he received a deportation order after his conviction, but earlier this month, Minnesota's Board of Pardons voted to pardon him. Federal officials say this wipes away his conviction that made him removable and now could help him fight deportation. So the 3-member board includes Governor Tim Walz, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, and Chief Justice Natalie Hudson.
Look at the 3 yokels who are running things in the states. Just look at this image.
I don't know why Ellison has not already been arrested. He should have been arrested already. And there was a story that broke really, really late, and I didn't have a chance to tell you about it, but that the Attorney General of Louisiana was charged with crimes by the DA in New Orleans because she was threatening him, like, hey, you guys got to start doing something. But why hasn't Ellison been arrested? He's on tape soliciting a bribe to interfere in an investigation, and he got the money.
Yep.
What's happening here? Can they not get a grand jury to indict him in Minnesota?
I don't know. That's a very fair question. I don't know how he's escaped indictment.
He should have been
There
indicted.
is a recording.
There's a fucking recording. Sorry, there's a recording.
Yeah.
has blasted the decision, saying in part, Governor Tim Walz's decision to pardon an illegal alien, convicted child rapist, so he can remain in our country is disgusting. This pardon will take away the child rapist qualifying convictions that made him removable from the United States. Now, we reached out to all three board members, including Governor Walz, to ask why they decided to pardon this convicted child sex offender. We have not heard back, Bill.
Okay. Of course, you haven't heard back. Is that it's just amazing, amazing. And you're right. This is great campaign fodder. It's really, really great campaign fodder.
I don't understand. I thought he was in jail, and that they had to wait. They waited for him to get out of jail, and that's what. I mean, why wasn't he deported in 2016 or 2017 or 2018 or any years in between 2006 and 2026? That's 20 years that he was in the country. A child rapist. What is going on?
He wasn't addressing it nearly as aggressively in his first term as he is this term. That's just like, it wasn't as big a thing back then. It really became a much bigger thing as a result of the mass flooding that we got under the Biden administration. That's just the reality. That's the reality of how things have broken down here. But I am going to call it, and I'll tell you right now, just out of deference to Uzelian gifting 20 members, I'm going to say, go!
I thought you were saying you were going to call it at the end of the show.
No.
Damn
no.
it.
No. You talked me into it.
I did not talk you into anything.
No, you really did.
You did have a couple more on Rumble, too. A couple 10s on Rumble.
There were a couple of 10s on Rumble. I missed this from Denise Sand saying, I thought Jim Knows would know that your own government was behind 9/11. You honestly believe that those buildings came down naturally from a plane hitting them, building 11? Come on, man.
I saw with my eyes the planes hit the buildings, okay? I saw it, all right? Now, Building 7, that's some weird stuff. I would have to ask questions about Building 7. I do. There's a lot of weird stuff going on there. That's where the paperwork was, where the $2 trillion that was missing in the audit from the Pentagon. I don't know, man. And the stuff about the Pentagon, I don't know, man. Don't make a lot of sense. But them planes hit the building. I saw them.
I think there probably were evidence in there that, you know, Israel purposely downed the Liberty, and they were trying to hide that.
You know what? It could be. Yes. I did see the video of those dancing Jews that they show all the time.
I sent a post out, which got a lot of people mad at me. Which I was like, the only reason Tyler Robinson was on that roof is because he's an Israeli and he was practicing his dancing. So I was proud of it, but apparently a lot of people didn't appreciate the humor. Hands One Pack says, is it time to watch the soccer video of Gavin getting balls to the face I sent you on X? I think it is time. This is part of our celebration of, we're going to call this added hour here our celebration of July 4th. And one way to celebrate July 4th is to watch Gavin Newsom getting balls to the face.
Okay, boys, let's run Operation Epic Balls of Fury. Guys, please don't suck.
Maybe Michael can sub in.
What?
Okay, first up we have the GOAT.
Ah! He gets hit in the face! Unbelievable, what a shot! Okay, we got Sleepy Joe up next and eating ice cream. Oh, and he whiffs it! He completely misses the ball! Incredible moves by Fat JD. Here comes the meme legend. Face shot again! Unbelievable! Let's go! Next, we have the first gay president. What was that? Yeah! You know what? I'll just do it myself. Uh-oh, looks like Pretty Boy is mad. Again to the dome! His brain is hanging on for dear life.
There you go. There you go.
Go!
Go! Yes. Thank you for sharing that with me. I actually had put it aside and forgot that I had put it aside, and then I saw your thing, and I was like, oh, yeah, I already have that. And I totally would have forgotten about it but for you. So thank you for saying that, Super Chat Hands. Thank you for sending that. I said I pay good money to see. That's what he had said. And then he responded with, "Did I mistype and say debate the U.S.'s liberty on accident?" Because he's like, I said debate them. I didn't say debate the U.S.'s liberty. Did I?
No. I'm just saying I respect both those guys. I think that what's his face, Daryl Cooper gets a lot of shit. I don't think they claims he's a secret Nazi or something. I don't think he is. He just wants the facts. And he talks about stuff. He did a great, really, really great, like 5-hour episode on. It's called like Fear and Loathing in New Jerusalem. It's great about the whole founding of Israel and everything. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think he's just a historian type guy. I don't know. But he's also a guy who claims he's not a historian. But that same thing, like Dave Smith says, he's just a comedian whenever you question him on stuff. But I don't know.
Sandy, thank you for the super sticker. God bless you. And to everyone out there, in case I forget, happy July 4th. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend. Get some fireworks. Maybe you're fortunate enough to be down in the DC area or wherever you are in this fair country of ours. I hope you have a phenomenal, exceptional July 4th and comfortable weather with some grilled meat, maybe some ice cream, get your hot dogs, and really live it up and bask in the fact that you have the privilege of being an American. Because apparently this is something that properly makes you the envy of the world. What's the time remaining and count on the goal? The time remaining is, I called the goal. So there you go. I called it. He's very dark and creepy and Fredo smart. I'm smart. I can do things. I'm smart. Yeah, he is very creepy. Anyhow, I wanted to cover with you, part of what I wanted to cover was Meet Dillon seeking to strike down gun bans in two different states. I think in Virginia and California are the two states that she's trying to strike it down. So I'm not gonna have enough time to go through the complaints in both of them. This first one that I was looking at here, I did start looking at this, was the one in California, where in California they had issued a gun ban relating to
Glocks.
Yes.
New Jersey, I think, did the same thing, actually.
Did they?
I think so.
And she said the Supreme Court made clear the Second Amendment is not a second-class right. Some citizens aren't getting the message. Every gun grabber should note banning the most popular pistol in America violates the Second Amendment and civil rights is taking action. This is her complaint that she had filed. And I actually started scanning through this, and she writes well, or her staff does. Someone writes well there. And God bless her, Meet Dillon. But she basically starts off saying that in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, the court set forth the following test for evaluating Second Amendment claims. We reiterate the standard for applying the Second Amendment is as follows. And it starts with the default that your gun restriction is unconstitutional. The burden is on the state to prove it is constitutional. When the Second Amendment's plain text covers an individual's conduct, the Constitution presumptively protects that conduct. The government must then justify its regulation by demonstrating that it's consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. Under step one of the Bruin test, Second Amendment's plain text covers an individual's conduct. The Constitution presumptively protects that conduct. Another way of saying that is that the law that restricts conduct covered by the plain text Second Amendment is presumptively unconstitutional. Step two is that the government, the defendants, has an opportunity to rebut any presumption of unconstitutionality that arose under step one by demonstrating that its regulation is consistent with the nation's historical tradition. You're going to find any similar restrictions that say you can't have a Glock? Only then may a court conclude that the individual's conduct falls outside the Second Amendment's unqualified command. Thus, when the government regulates arms-bearing conduct, as when the government regulates other constitutional rights, it bears the burden to justify the regulation. It's on you, states. You got to prove to us that you didn't just breach your residents, your citizens' Second Amendment rights. And then she goes in on the Glock ban. It's illegal for California licensed firearms dealer to sell, offer for sale, exchange, give, transfer, or deliver any semi-automatic machine gun convertible pistol. Violations of the Glock ban may be punished by a fine and suspension or revocation of the dealer's license. California Penal Code 16885A defines a semi-automatic machine gun as any semi-automatic pistol with a cruciform trigger bar that can be readily converted by hand or with a common household tools into a machine gun by the installation or attachment of pistol converter as a replacement for the slide's backplate without any additional engineering, machining, or modification of the pistol's trigger mechanism. So what they're saying is if you have the capacity to convert it into a machine gun, that capacity makes the entire gun illegal.
That actually wraps up pretty much almost every striker fired pistol, because you can just attach an attachment onto the back and cause it to basically be full auto. But that part is what's illegal, the conversion part.
Right. The paradigmatic handguns, the sale of which California Penal Code 27595 bans, are manufactured by Glock. Accordingly, we're going to call this the Glock ban. A pistol converter is a device that can be attached to a pistol which enables a pistol to fire automatically, meaning that it will fire more than one round in a single function of the trigger. Pull it once, more shots are going to go off. So a pistol converter is a device that transforms a semi-automatic pistol into a machine gun. The California's definition of machine gun includes pistol converters. Possession of a machine gun, including pistol, is prohibited. Neither Glock nor any manufacturer of Glock-style pistols makes pistol converters. That prohibition is not at issue here. We're fine with them saying you can't make that. We're not complaining about that. Apparently, the state believes it can outlaw perfectly legal and safe firearms if those firearms can be converted into illegal firearms. This is not the law. A legal shotgun can be turned into an illegal sawed-off shotgun in a matter of seconds with a common hacksaw. You can take any gun and make it into a legal gun. Surely this does not mean that the state can outlaw shotguns. A semi-automatic rifle can be converted into a machine gun, but unmodified semi-automatic rifles are widely accepted as lawful possessions. The state's argument is directly contrary to the court's holding in Staples that she had just quoted. And she goes on to say it's presumptively unconstitutional, that the law is unconstitutional and it has to be struck down. And I think that she makes a really good case here. Now, let's see what happens, but I actually think that her case here is, when she says that there's no historical tradition analogous to a ban of a weapon in common use, it follows that there's no historical tradition of banning the purchase and sale of a weapon in common use. And a plaintiff is not required to prove common use as part of their step one showing. But if they do prove common use, they necessarily preclude the government from prevailing under step two. Meaning, because this is something that is in common use, it means that whatever analogy you might want to come up with is not something that the court should even consider. So she writes well. She writes very articulately, very clearly.
I'm hoping that all this stuff is going to eventually lead to the Hughes Amendment being ruled unconstitutional.
What was the Hughes Amendment?
Hughes Amendment was part of what they snuck in 84 or 86. 84 or 86, I can't remember, under Reagan with the gun bill to basically so that no new manufactured machine guns could be sold to the public. So that's why we have this registry. That's why there's machine guns that are, $250,000 to sell because there's such a limited amount of them and people pay the money. So basically machine guns became only for the ultra rich. I mean, you could get an Uzi or a Mac-10 for around $8,000 to $10,000 still, but that's a lot of money for a gun.
Yeah. We also have Harmeet Dillon just sued to strike down Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger's draconian ban on AR-15 and similar style rifles. And I think that she's going to, SB 749 infringes on the right of law-abiding Virginians to purchase and sell AR-15 style rifles and therefore violates the Second Amendment. Thus, defendants have acted and will continue to act in blatant disregard of the constitutional rights of the citizens of Virginia, the filing says. I got to tell you right now, Harmeet Dillon is the best part of the Trump DOJ. Just time after time, she comes in with things that are actually based. I want to express my kudos. I had reservations about her when she was appointed. I asked Ron Coleman, who used to work for her. He worked for the Dillon Law Group for many years. He only broke off like a year or two ago and went off on his own. But he spent I think over a decade working directly with Harmeet. And I remember when I saw him in 2020, I saw him in a news clip where the Republicans had been suing to get access to the polls in 2020, and I saw him standing there with a bunch of famous people. I'm trying to remember who was there. But anyway, that's not the point. But he does have the point is that he has had a extensive career working with Harmeet. And he was reassuring me, saying that he thought she would be great. I was nervous that she might be too deep state, and I felt like she was sort of. I wasn't really crazy about this election.
She tried running for the head of the RNC, didn't she? And basically couldn't get it.
Yeah, I think so.
She wasn't deep statey enough for that,
I guess. So she's been a fire pistol.
Controversial law that bans certain semi-automatic firearms takes effect on July 1st, and this is leading to a surge of gun sales in the Commonwealth.
All right, Chanley Painter joins us with all those details. Chanley, good morning. Hey, good morning. So this legislation in Virginia was signed into law last month. It bans the future sale, manufacture, import, and transfer of semi-automatic rifles or pistols that have a magazine capacity of more than 15 rounds. So essentially, starting July 1st, under the law, it will be a misdemeanor to buy, sell, transfer, or make an assault firearm. But get this, since the Democrat-led effort was introduced earlier this year, the number of background checks done for the purchase of a firearm went up drastically, according to the FBI. For example, in just the month of May alone, more than 75,000 background checks were conducted. That's more than double the amount from last year, where only some 37,000 were conducted in May of 2025. In a statement after she signed the law, Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger wrote this, quote, "Firearms designed to inflict maximum casualties do not belong on our streets. We are taking this step to protect families and support the law enforcement officers who work every day to keep our communities safe." Well, as you may guess, many gun rights advocates and gun shop owners are hoping this law is eventually overturned by the courts, guys.
Thank you, Chanley. Thank you, Chanley.
And I actually met Chanley Painter at the Depp trial when I went down there. She was working for Law and Crime at the time. And I told her, "Why do you work for the deep state?" We were talking, she was like, "You really think that he's innocent and he's gonna win?" I was like, "Oh, hell yeah." She's an attorney also. And I was like, "Why would you?" She was like, "So you're doing this on your own?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You make a living doing that?" It's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I don't know why you work for these idiots," because Law and Crime, they were basically a bunch of cucks who were trying to stop everyone from and saying, "You're sniping our material." But yeah. So it's good to see Harmeet is staying active. And the reason that's why when I noticed that now she's working for Fox and Friends, I thought that was kind of funny. Because she basically moved, she was moving. I was like, "Yeah, you're just some stupid leftist." But
no, she's getting paid more money now.
That's pretty much what it is. It's definitely what it is. But so it's nice to see Harmeet going after this.
So what Democrats who control every lever of power in Virginia are doing right now, in addition to raising people's taxes, they're also going after people's guns and taking them away. And they're taking away the most popular guns used by people, by women who want to defend themselves and defend their families from criminals. And and of course, the predictable result of it is that over the past 3 months since this law was passed, the gun sales have absolutely exploded.
I mean, isn't like their motto of Virginia, Sic Semper Tyrannis?
Is that their motto?
I'm pretty sure it's on their flag. Death to Tyrants. Pretty sure it's on there. Yeah, Virginia. Yeah, pretty sure.
Isn't that what Booth screamed after he shot?
Yes.
That's their motto?
Yeah, look it up. Jim doesn't make things up.
That's interesting. You had other gun stories from the streets that you wanted to cover.
From the streets, yes. From the
streets.
From the streets. You have the links or no?
Yeah, I do. I can.
Story 3 and 3A and 4. So we don't have to get to all of them or whatever. You think I mean 6 Semper T-Rex? Thus always the tyrants. Whatever.
I have to tell you all that I do not support, obviously, the video that we're about to watch here. But this is the sicko.
No, that's 3A.
Yeah.
What about 3? Are you skipping them?
Oh, I don't know. I just hit this one first. This is a sicko who has very strong feelings about engaging in violence in ways that no sane.
This is a staffer, a Democrat, or as I call him, Demon Rat staffer for the Wisconsin Demon Rat Party.
Hey, T7T here, and we're going to make this the moderate position for the state of Wisconsin, but I need your help because we have 1 month to do this. So let's do it.
I got a very Corey Haim vibe from him. Yeah, that's actually a thing. That was 3A. This is during an hour-long TikTok live. T.A. De La Rule defended his calls for trans jihad and to kill your local Republican, claiming he was simply saying out loud what everyone else says privately. Oh, that makes total sense. De La Rule received a visit from local police, but he was in Milwaukee protesting ICE at the time. None of this is normal, and apparently a lot of activists in the Wisconsin Democrats believe this too.
Just think what I hate the most is that how many people personally agree with me. And then, like especially private, and then when push comes to shove, I'm left to get cooked. I'm just left to get cooked and fried. Like, I think that's what's crazy.
I think he should be cooked and fried.
All I ever have done and say is what people have said. Like, a lot, like, you know, all I did was give it a camera of what people were saying. And, that's enough. That's enough to condemn me, I guess.
Obviously, yes, that's exactly what the crime is when you're trying to incite terrorist activity. That is the crime.
I think what I hate the most is that how many people personally agree with me, and then like especially private, and then when push comes to shove, I never have done and say is what people have said. Like, a lot, like, you know, all I did was give it a camera of what people were saying. And that's enough. That's enough to condemn me, I guess.
Unbelievable. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo-hoo. Oh, this poor they, them. This poor Comrade Sparkle Hugs. Oh, my God. They're so messed up. What was in 3? Oh, this one? Let's see what you got here.
This one is scary.
Is this one scary?
Yes. When you see the arsenal this person had, it's like, oh, geez. Like, I look at this and I go, oh, I would like to have all those.
So New York Post reporting that a trans man was discovered to have trans gunman caught in an alleged casino terror plot with huge cache of weapons as cops released chilling footage. Las Vegas cops busted a transgender gunman who allegedly planned a casino massacre using a huge cache of weapons. Allison Howlett, 36, who was born a man and is still a man, but pretends he's a woman, was arrested Saturday on charges of making terroristic threats, assault with deadly weapon.
What does that mean? But lives as a woman, drives poorly, cries all the time? I don't know. Can't decide what to have for dinner? I don't get it.
Was arrested Saturday on charges of making terroristic threats, assault with deadly weapon, auto theft, gun theft, and other offenses. The wild story unfolded shortly after 9:30 a.m. Saturday when Howlett's former spouse, who is female, called police to report Howlett had stolen a car and the vehicle held numerous firearms, Henderson Police Chief Reggie Rader said.
Go up to that picture of the guns.
What? Do you think that's a lot of guns?
Well, I mean, there's a Modus, M2 Modus 50 caliber machine gun there. There's several M16s with M203 grenade launchers on them. I mean, there's a P90. There's a silent suppressed MP5. There's what looks an awful lot like a Colt Commando machine gun. It's well over $150,000 worth of guns there.
Well, there you go. The former spouse said Howlett intended to commit suicide by cop or carry out a mass shooting, Rader said. Howlett's ex was tracking her stolen car on her phone, led cops to where it was parked in a garage in Sunset Station, the top cop said. As officers approached the vehicle, Howlett blasted music over the car's stereo and refused commands to exit. He did, however, I like how they said he. I like that. He did, however, ask cops for a drink of water. Shocking video of the ensuing interaction shows officers surrounding the vehicle, dragging Howlett from the car as he reached for a bottle of water ostensibly offered by clever cops. Should we see the video? Can I show this?
I don't see why not. I don't know.
Will YouTube be like?
I don't know.
Hold on. Let me do a quick check on this. I haven't looked at this video yet.
There was other videos on the links, like from X and stuff like that. I don't know.
But I want to see the shocking video. Who doesn't want to see the shocking video? Hold on a second. Let me try to. I'm going to use a different browser, which will have my passwords in it. It'll work a little better. I really want to see what the cops did here. Why is this taking so long to load? Where's the shocking video? Holy moly. All right, I got more pictures of the guns here. This was supposed to be the shocking video.
Go back for a second, because that looks like a like an anti-tank rocket, and the other thing looks like an RPG. Like I didn't think, I don't know. That seems like something normal people wouldn't just have laying around. I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Wow.
Villainize you. I swear to God, if the FBI doesn't come and fucking arrest me, there's gonna be a fucking mass shooting. There's going to be. One day, there's not gonna be enough fucking comeback. There's no way I'm gonna pull this shit back, rein it back in. There's one day you're gonna be to piss me the fuck off, and it's gonna be the last fucking straw. I swear to God. You're gonna be the reason.
This is living as a woman, by the way.
Hundreds of people lose their goddamn life. Villainized by everyone. I haven't villainized you. I swear to God, if the FBI
It sounds like two men having a talk.
There's gonna be a
What is it? That's supposed to be the wife? The one? Which one's the woman? Because they both have manly voices.
There's going to be.
Northwest and southwest of the parking lot on First Floor.
Thank you.
All right, yeah, let's just...
No, no, okay, I'll get out, please. Hold up. All right.
So stupid. You're so stupid. Oh my God.
All right, yeah, let's just...
No, dude.
What did you think was going to happen? What did you think? Wow. This is when they were approaching with the water. Oh, thanks. You're giving me water. Oh, so kind of you. He's so dumb. Wow. Good work by the police. Good on you. This probably would have worked just as well if we had social workers doing it. Social workers could have done the same thing. I don't know why the cops had to be there. Wow. Good find. Good find indeed. Then we had what's four? Florida
This
black
one,
man.
this is a shooting that just happened the other in Florida in a Walmart parking lot, and I've seen both sides of the coin. Like, basically, I don't know. Brock is like, oh, it could be self-defense because it looks like the guy's approaching her, but then it's like, well, no, the woman gets out of her car with her gun in his hand, and is like waving it around, yelling at people, and shoots it on her. I don't know, man. Like, it's all going to depend on what is on the video, like what's on the audio recordings. Like, 'cause she's on the phone supposedly with 911 and stuff, and I don't know how. I don't know. It's messed up. It kind of looks like she shot a dude over an argument about a parking spot, but there's a lot more to the video. More videos.
This is.
She's pointing a gun at him right
He's
now. Like,
unarmed.
yeah. She's like pointing a gun at him, and he's like, whatever. I don't know. But why he decides to go back and talk to her, and she just shoots him. But I guess the argument was, you see how her car is parked? You see where he's standing, where the line is? You see where her tire is basically in the middle? So I think she was parked all the way over, like he couldn't get into his car.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't know. But there's an earlier video where you see her jump out of her car with the gun in her hand. And like
a witness captured the shooting on a cell phone. And videos from cameras on a nearby Tesla show the crime as it happened. A man and a woman are arguing. The man is seen walking toward the woman, follows her around a vehicle. A few moments later, investigators say she.
So that's the one with the shooting right there.
Yeah. Now, I will say, because I could get the statute for you, but there is a Florida statute that they passed a few years ago where if a person claims self-defense before they can make an arrest, they have to investigate and be able to disprove self-defense. So it's quite possible the only reason she hasn't been arrested yet is because they're still investigating. They have to go in front of a grand jury. They can't just, because they didn't want people basically being arrested and being locked up if it's self-defense. So, like,
you can see from where he's standing and where she's standing that it's basically 2 car doors away.
Mm-hmm.
It's like basically the front car door and the back car door, and he seems like he's by the front of the tire, and she's basically. So you gotta figure there's 15 feet here, right?
Mm-hmm.
12 feet at least. It's at least 12 feet.
See if I can find the other.
Shot him. A relative sent us this picture of Bart de Guglielmo. He died from his injuries. It happened yesterday in the middle of the day in the Walmart Supercenter parking lot on McNabb Road near Rock Island Road in North Lauderdale.
When I came, there was police officers everywhere, and I did hear a woman screaming and crying, and she was saying something, but I couldn't, but it was incoherent to me what she was saying.
Deputies confirm the woman and de Guglielmo exchanged words over a parking spot and then the shooting. She waited for police to arrive, then told them she shot in self-defense. Tonight, she's not in jail. Prosecutors will decide if she should face criminal charges or not. A witness.
You think she's in fear? She's in reasonable and
no, it's not reasonable
fear of imminent, serious bodily harm.
No, I don't think.
I don't think this is a valid self-defense. Yeah. It's closer than Carmelo Anthony, but
trying to find a full video where she gets out of her car with the gun. Here's another. I'll put this in the link. The shows are like before the cars. Put this in the studio chat. It's like a longer video before that space even opens up. There's another one where they show her getting out of her car with the gun in her hand.
Are you sharing a link with me?
I just put it in the private chat. This link. It's like a 1.5 minute long video, but I'm looking for the one where they show her where it is, where they actually show her. It's like a little bit longer, where she gets out of her car with the gun in her hand and starts yelling, and that's when yelling at the guy, and he comes walking up to her. It's like goes on for like 2 minutes, them yelling, arguing with each other.
With the video,
She's got the gun in her hand already with her phone, and he's just like,
the woman
"What's up?"
with the gun. There is a standoff.
She's pointing a gun at him.
And then
it's
the
like
shooting. You can hear it.
The problem is,
He was a good man.
Well, I mean, the thing she has going for her is she keeps trying to retreat, and he keeps following after her.
I think the problem is going to be that as soon as she got out of the car with the gun in her hand and started pointing it around, she's committing a crime.
Amanda
Brandishing,
lost her 62
brandishing, and the stand your ground statute. You cannot be committing a crime when you stand your ground. Like you can't escalate. Like she escalated a verbal argument by getting out of her car with the gun in her hand over a verbal argument. She was in her car. She got out of her car with the gun. So that's going to be the issue. Like whether or not.
Yeah, but then after she escalated, he's walking after her.
It doesn't matter. She would have to. He never did anything. What was he doing?
Email and the victim.
Telling her, calling her name. I don't know, calling her names or something. He never balls her fist or runs at her or anything.
According to investigators, the shooter, the adult female, remained on scene, cooperated with detectives, and she told them the shooting was in self-defense.
He loved his country. He loved his country.
Bart served in the military. There are no charges in this case at this point. Amanda says she was estranged from her dad for many years, but recently they were working on repairing their relationship. And just like that, a life lost. And throughout
this guy was an idiot for not just turning around and walking away. I'm not saying this guy's smart or whatever. I don't know. He thought, he's not going to shoot me over argument.
And during
I don't
the
know.
time we spoke with Amanda, the daughter, she kept repeating to me, over a parking spot, nobody deserves to lose their life over a parking spot. I want to mention this again. No charges at this point. The investigation is ongoing.
And that would be why there would be no charge on the point based on that Floridian law that you're citing.
Yeah, they have to disprove self-defense once the claim is made. If it's a colorable claim, basically, like if it's like just ridiculous, they oh, what's up, Colt?
Colt says anyone who hasn't listened to Fear and Loathing in New Jerusalem should give it a listen. Same for Scott Horton, an already required reading. Making a mockery of law and politics might be a Trojan horse to welcome democratic socialism, or even worse, a data center disseminated rules-based gulag. I'm not sure who you're referring to as making a mockery of law and politics. Who was doing that? I'm not sure who you're referring to here, John. Soldier Providence. The First Amendment protects the Second. The Second Amendment defends the First. If you lose one, you will end up losing both. Tell him, Tony. No way the commies take the House in November. And you're betting on that, I know. You're on Kalshi. You're on Kalshi. He doesn't just say things. Hans One-Pack says 21-foot rule is good enough for cops. Why not her?
21-foot rule has to do with somebody with a knife. I mean, here's the thing.
You're saying that the dead person is holding a knife?
No. In the 21-foot rules for a person holding a knife, there is a cop being charged in either Rhode Island or Connecticut or Vermont or one of these northeastern states. A man charged at him with a knife, and the guy backed up. The guy came running at him with a knife. The cop shot him. They charged the cop with a crime because he should have de-escalated and not shot him. I'm not kidding. They fire it's the whole thing because basically the cop was immediately fired by the mayor saying the guy should have did this or should have did that because he got out of his car. Within 30 seconds of getting out of his car, he shot the guy. Well, someone's running at you with a knife in their hand. What are you supposed to do? Kiss him?
Yeah, well, I think that this is a case where I'm feeling, I can see a jury letting her walk without being a biased jury.
I don't know. I'm serious. I don't know, because there was another similar case, but there was that guy, remember, was in a 7-Eleven parking lot who got knocked down to the ground. The guy was coming at him and he shot the guy over a handicapped parking spot. That guy got convicted.
I'm just saying, they're going to say she's a woman. He was making threatening remarks and kept following after her. You can understand her basically saying, like, what am I supposed to do? He keeps following after me.
I think the problem is she got out of her car with a gun.
I don't know. Getting out of your car with a gun is a crime.
It is actually. You're brandishing a firearm. You're brandishing a firearm. You're holding it and you're going like this. She got out of her car and started going like this, pointing it around in the parking lot immediately.
Yeah, but then she's retreating.
She's still committing a crime.
If she's retreating and basically holding it in self-defense at that point, I don't know. I'm very ambivalent about this one.
I'm ambivalent too. A guy was stupid, but I don't see how, like, if this is the law that you can get out of your car with a gun and shoot people over an argument because you're afraid of them.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the fact that she's retreating and he keeps coming after her. At a certain point, he does become the aggressor. Even if she's holding a gun, he's becoming the aggressor. You even asked on him, why are you following?
Yeah, but there's a different Joe. It's a verbal disagreement.
I understand that when she pulls out a gun, it's no longer a verbal disagreement, and he's following after her for another minute and a half.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see, because she was supposedly on the phone.
I almost don't care what made her get out of the gun, because once she's retreating, at a certain point, you're just like, how long am I supposed to just keep running around here, like being afraid of this guy? And now he's like 10 feet away from me, or 15 feet. It's close. What I'm saying is, it's close. The question is it justify use of lethal force? That's really what the question is. Let's put it this way, okay? Let's just stop for a second and just think this, okay? Let's assume instead of using a gun, right? Let's assume instead she had thrown a book at him, right? Didn't use lethal force. Would you say she was justified?
Throw a book at him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he threatened her at all. That's what I'm saying. Like there's
the
recording.
way he's following. I'm just stay with me for a second, okay? Just answer the question that I'm presenting to you. Let's assume instead of let's say she threw her phone at him and hit him in the head. And so, and she's holding the gun, but instead of firing the gun, she threw her phone at him and hit him in the head. He gets knocked unconscious and dies. So she's not using lethal force. Would you say that what she did there was wrong? And what I would say is, I don't think you would. I don't think you'd be sitting there talking about, well, she was brandishing. I don't think you would be saying that. I think you'd be saying that he spent a minute following after her. So now we're dealing with, she's raising it up to lethal force, but you have two-step process here. The first is just self-defense justifiable, and now you have, okay, but do you have the lethal force? And I think that when you're doing analysis of is self-defense justifiable, I think that she probably wins because of her continual retreat. Then when we look at part two is, well, can you use lethal force in your self-defense? That I think is a little bit more borderline because, he looks like a bigger guy, and he was, and is he close enough to really actually do that sort of damage to her? Like to have imminent fear of serious bodily injury. It's just, to me, that's a jury call. That's the way I'm seeing this right now.
I found a video I wanted you to see. I'll put it in private chat. All right. But I think she was supposedly on the phone with 911 and she's holding her phone or either videoing or talking to somebody with her phone when she shoots him and everything. So what was said prior, if he's threatening her in any way, telling her, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do anything, then I'm going to say, yeah, she was probably justified when he was coming at her, threatening her. It's going to all depend on what was the verbal altercation. Just saying you're stupid, what the fuck, move your car, something like that. That's a lot different than saying you're going to beat somebody up or I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that, threatening people. Everything's going to rely on that. Now, after
you're saying everything relies on that.
Everything relies on what if there was a threat, if he made any threat against her, if he made no threat against her to do anything, he's just saying, come on, just move your car. What are you doing? You're blocking me in. Move your car. Please move your car.
And she's saying his physical presence is not a factor here.
No, if somebody's just saying, please move your car. I can't get out. You blocked me in. I can't get in my car. You locked me out of my car.
Yeah, I don't think you're still addressing step one. on the two-step thing, and what I'm saying is I disagree with you on that. I think that she would have been justified if she threw a phone at him. If she's not using lethal force, I think she definitely has legitimate self-defense. So the question, but so that's what, and you're trying to say is she doesn't have legitimate self-defense because unless he's threatening her. Well, I think walking around behind her, tailing after her for a full minute, which feels like 20 minutes when you're actually there in the moment. I think you would say, she has a right to self-defense. But then the question is the lethality of it. That's the step 2 part. But you keep coming back to the step 1 part. I'm like, I don't see how she loses on the step 1 part. I don't care. Even if he doesn't say I'm going to kill you or I'm going to hurt you.
What if she told him when she first got out, get away from me, I'm going to shoot you, motherfucker, or something like that, and she was threatening to shoot him the whole time, and he's just like, whatever. What are you going to shoot me over a parking spot? You seriously going to shoot me over a parking spot? You're going to somehow say that that's self-defense?
If
that's what he's saying, like, you're going to shoot me over a parking spot? You're going to shoot me over a parking spot. Seriously, you're going to shoot me over a parking spot, and she shoots him. Oh, with self-defense, she warned him. Isn't that what Kamala said? I warned him.
I think when he's continually, you cannot get away from the fact he's continually walking after her. She's not going after him.
He was stupid.
Well, stupid. Well, the point is, just because he's stupid doesn't mean that she doesn't think that this guy's about to jump her. A lot of people, the cops, when they were dealing with the trans guy, they were offering him water, and they had no intention of giving him water. I'm just saying, like, I think that she wins on step 1, and then the question is whether or not she had a legitimate reason to think. Now, you can bring up what you were talking about with respect to step 2 of that. Does she ever, if he's threatening her that he's going to kill her, that's all the more reason for her to be in fear of serious bodily injury. That he's looking to do damage to her. So I agree that can help me get past, the step 2 part for her defense, and if it's not there, then it makes she has a weaker case on the step 2 part. But if just on the having self-defense, I think that walking after her, I don't care if she was a bitch and started this whole thing. I don't care if she's a bitch and pulls the gun out. When she's retreating, if you were retreating, you were an a-hole at first, and then you were retreating, I think at a certain point you regain your self-defense basis.
We'll play the video I just put in there, because I think it comes down to this is the problem. This is where she's going to have to justify why she got out of the car with the gun in her hand.
Take a look at this dash cam video. That's the woman with the gun on the left, getting out of her car, holding a phone in her left hand and a gun.
We're going to start this with the video. The victim with the gray shirt. The woman with the gun. There is a standoff, and then...
Take a look at this dash cam video.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I'm saying. Like,
that does nothing to move the needle for me at all. I'm just telling you.
Where's the guy that she got out of the car with the gun? He comes walking up after she calls out to him and says something to him.
Again.
That's all. I don't know.
60 seconds is a freaking long time.
Yeah, no. It is. The guy was very stupid. I'm not saying the guy's not stupid. I don't know. He thought in his mind, for whatever reason, that there's no way someone's going to shoot me over a parking spot. Well, he was wrong. I just don't think that's a justifiable use of lethal force. I don't.
Again, stay with me here. There's 2 parts. Do you have justifiable self-defense? And then do you have justifiable lethal force self-defense? And what I'm saying is I think she has justifiable self-defense. You want to try and throw these factors at me to say that she had no reason to think that she was in serious fear of imminent. She was in imminent fear. She had a reasonable imminent fear of serious bodily harm. Okay, maybe. If you're working for the prosecution, that's what we want to try and sell me on. Okay, I can potentially go down that road. And then I would say let's hear the nature of the conversation, and let's see how far away they were from each other, and that she was about to be, seriously harmed. But I don't know. That's how I look at this. But
the problem's going to be, all right, that when she's asked, why did you get out of the car with the gun? And if she says something like, well, I was afraid what he might do to me, so I got my gun so I could protect myself. That means you intentionally got out of your car with that gun knowing that you were going to use that gun.
And you keep saying that's the problem for her, and I keep saying I don't think it's a problem for her once she retreats and retreats and retreats. And you're not going to convince me otherwise. That's something you keep coming back to. She got out of the gun. She got the gun. She got the gun.
She was pointing the gun at him the whole time.
She was wrong. She was a bitch. She was wrong. What I'm saying is, at a certain point, even when you're a bitch and you're wrong, when you retreat, and the person is stupid enough to keep walking toward you for 60 freaking seconds, I think she regains her right to self-defense. It's really, and I don't care if she was an idiot. I don't care if she was evil. I don't care if she's freaking Hitler. Okay? She was freaking Hitler when she got out of that car. I don't care. At a certain point, when you retreat, and you're like, at a certain point, I think she regains her self-defense. And so you keep coming back to that first moment. I think that first moment is wholly irrelevant.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to disagree with you. Jeez.
No, you can disagree with me, but you
get so angry.
You're coming back to the same point over and over again. And I keep
That's the
saying,
thing where it starts.
I don't care where it starts. I care about what happened in the interim 60 seconds. Because you have to see what's leading up to the moment that she's shooting him. And as far as dead, I think the fact that she keeps retreating, to me, that's a very big deal. That's a very big deal. Okay, if you screw up and you do something wrong, is there no chance, and you have no chance to make amends for it? Like that's like when the person is making the situation worse and worse. To me, I think that if you could use lethal force for people being agitated in public, we'd have to put sand on 14th Street so you could walk without slipping on the blood. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying her agitation. I'm saying that she has to have a reasonable fear of imminent serious bodily harm. And that's the question. That's where the nature of the conversation happens. That's where seeing the distance between them matters. Which is, I sort of have a general idea for how far they were from each other. But not because she's in a bad mood or because she's,
I just think a lot of the same people who said that Chud the Builder is a murderer and wasn't self-defense when he was in a headlock and getting attacked and shot the guy are the same people saying this woman is totally justified. It's kind of weird.
So let's compare this to the Chud case. So what I'm saying is when Chud is whatchamacallit. I mean, I don't remember the particulars of that case.
Chud, some guy was approaching.
I know he was.
They got into a fight. The guy had Chud in a headlock, hitting him, and Chud basically pulled his gun out and tried to shoot the guy who was trying to choke him out.
Yeah.
And Chud ended up, I guess, grazing himself, shooting himself in the arm. And so they immediately arrested Chud, and they're like, oh, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know. Chud's probably an asshole. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But basically they're going to, if they can find any recording of Chud saying a terrible word, they're going to probably throw a book at him.
This is true.
I don't know. I don't know what this woman said after shooting him either.
History makes him less sympathetic defendant.
Yeah, but this woman was saying stuff like you could see after she shoots him, she's like, yeah, something. So if she said some things that were like, could be a problem, generally speaking, if certain words came out of her mouth at that point in time, cracker or something like that, I got your cracker ass.
I want to share something. I want to share something with you guys that I was gonna share last night, but I didn't. I didn't get a chance to share it last night, but I want to share it with you. I want to see if I can find it because we're coming towards the last 5 minutes here. But this is a video which made me feel proud to be an American. And I don't know if I'll be able to keep it up or if YouTube's gonna make me take it down because I don't know if this song is protected or not.
What's the song?
I don't know.
Do you remember that they had the opening ceremonies for like the American 250 stuff with Trump, and they had the Navy and Marine Corps band playing the stuff? I wanted to play Trump's speech, and so I was playing some other stuff, and they had the Army and Navy band play the Battle Hymn of the Republic, all right, and sing it. Somebody tried to claim the Battle Hymn of the Republic as copyrighted. And I'm fighting it right now because I'm like, that has been in the public domain since 1931.
Yeah, but I think particular recording could be owned.
but they're trying to claim like compose or whatever, but it was sung by the army, you know, so it isn't some Mexicano, Latino, Brazil musicato they're trying to claim it. I'm like, what are you, nuts?
I need to find it. It's so good. Hopefully I'll find it quickly.
Well, I just want to say to anybody who's watching on my channel, I appreciate you all being here.
I did find it quickly. Yeah, but go ahead.
And,
no, go ahead.
I'll see you guys all tomorrow.
Make sure that you guys are subbing up to Jim.
Yeah, be nice.
Did you put links? Did you put
I
links
will.
in? We'll put links in.
I will.
This was just very cool. And seeing as how we're still alive somehow in FIFA, and advanced to the round of final 16, and it is our 250th anniversary. And to me, I can't watch this without feeling great pride in the privilege and blessings of being American. So I hope you feel a similar pride as well.
Flew in from across the ocean, didn't know what to expect. Saw the skyline out the window and I nearly broke my neck. Landed in Atlanta where the Georgia pines run green, and I said this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Pulled up to a Waffle House at 1 a.m. real late. Hash brown scattered, smothered, covered, 10 out of 10, it's great. Discovered free refills and I almost lost my mind.
This is made of like all the different videos that went viral of Europeans and people from around the globe raving about America.
You are going to have to cut this out.
I'm gonna have to cut. I'm gonna have to cut it.
You're gonna have to cut this out.
It was newly created. It was created in the last week, because some of these clips only came out a week ago, and this song is obviously tailor made based on quotes from these different clips.
The music. It's the music.
Yeah.
The music is from a country song.
Welcome that I never thought I'd find. Welcome to the land where the whole world comes to play. Flags from every nation waving proud and on display. From Boston to LA, from Dallas to the sea. 80,000 voices, this is what it means to be free. Hey! Welcome to the land, yeah, we're rolling out the door. Every street is stage, every stranger wanting more. The ball is in the air, and the whole wide world can see. Welcome. Welcome, welcome to the land of the free.
It's great.
The Scots marched into Boston with their bagpipes ringing clear. Kilts and tartan everywhere, the whole city stopped to hear. They sang Flower of Scotland at the Red Sox Fenway Park. Lit the whole of New England up and glowing in the dark. The Germans hit the highway, chased the road from south to north. Freddie said it's the Holy Land, he meant Taco Bell, of course. Buc-ee's left him speechless, Bass Pro Shops left him amazed. Even got invited to the White House, yeah, the whole world's going crazy. Norwegian fans in New York doing yoga in Times Square. Then they turned the escalator into a Viking's lair. Rowing up together like a long ship headed home. Little boy in and out, now he won't leave alone. Oh, welcome to the land where the whole world comes to play. Flags from every nation waving proud and on display. From Boston to LA, from Dallas to the sea. 80,000 voices, this is what it means to be free. Welcome to the land, yeah, we're rolling out the door. Every street is stage, every stranger wanting more. The ball is in the air, and the whole wide world can see. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the land of the free. Japan fans fans cleaning stadiums the same way that they do. An NFL star grabbed a trash bag, joined the whole crew. Mexico and South Korea, best friends on the street, dancing to Gangnam Style with their arms around each beat. Kansas learned Algerian, the marching band played their song. 500 Lawrence locals show the world where you belong. Swedish fans went searching for the recipe to ranch. Frenchman says the air conditioning deserves its own whole stanza. English fans stood jaw dropped at the first sight of Buc-ee's. Scottish fans at Fenway, Boston said please don't leave. Hockey and the ranch dressing brisket by the pound. Best tournament the world has ever seen. And we're just getting wild. A bagpiper and a bucket drummer outside Faneuil Hall, plaid kilt, wicker hat, playing music for us all. Different worlds, different words, different flags, different names. But when the whistle blows, we all come alive the same. From the Rockies to Rockefeller, from Seattle to the shore, America is telling the world, come on in. Welcome to the land where the whole world comes to play. Flags from every nation waving proud and on display. From Boston to LA, from Dallas to the sea, 80,000 voices, this is what it means to be free. Yeah. Welcome to the land, yeah, we're rolling out the door. Every street is stage, every stranger wanting more. The ball is in the air, and the whole wide world can see. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the land of the free. To the land of the free. From the people who came here and fell in love with the land, to the people who live here and reached out a hand. One beautiful game, one beautiful truth. The whole world is welcome, and the whole world came through.
What an amazing, amazing song. That was really amazing. I heard that and I was just like, I got like a rush of like pride in America. So I figured, seeing as how this is like my closing moments before July 4th, 250, I will remind you that in honor of July 4th, 250, if you check out my merch store, we're having a 25% discount. Just use the code America250. And I think that's what the code was. I'm 100% sure. I said that a couple of times. I wasn't the one who created the code. My store designer put that in, so I want to make sure that I have that accurate. I was wrong. It's USA 250. I'm glad I double checked. USA 250. USA 250. Use code USA 250 for a 25% discount. That's going to be going on for the next week in honor of our quarter millennial celebration of our amazing, blessed by God country. If you don't think it's amazing, just ask the rest of the world, because they're dying to get in here and get the status that you have. So even though it's hot as anything, and I've been schwitzing like a ferret, but yeah. Anyhow, and thank you, Richard Parker. I have been working on my intro and outro. I will remind you, those of you who came late, that I'm offering on locals. You can check it out if you want to be in the intro. Then I'm offering that up there, and I have special discount for my OG members who've been around for a couple of years, or regular contributors here, as a way of expressing my gratitude to them. That I'd love to get them in there, so I sort of gave them a discounted rate for getting in there in whatever manner fits your budget best. But I think it'll be cool to see yourself in the intro song on a nightly basis. I think you're really gonna like it. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Please make sure you sub up to Jim. Any final words you have, Jim?
No.
You're good?
I'm good.
All right. So I'm just going to remind everyone that listen to my outro song, because that tells you everything you need to know. And I guess, what else do I have? Oh, yeah. I had just one more thing. Dates check. I need to.
Somebody was saying they get liberal vibes from me.
I don't get that from you at all.
I told the guy, your gaydar is off. I'm more right-wing than Joe ever has been.
Well, that was great. I will say you know more about guns than I do by a light year. You were able to identify those guns. That was very impressive. Make sure you sub up to Jim. He's awesome. And
I'm over here giving free helicopter rides. This guy's calling me a liberal.
Have a phenomenal weekend. Happy 4th of July, America.
Happy Independence Day.
Someone
whose family has fought in every war since the Spanish-American War.
Stick around for the outro. Good night and Godspeed.
The plane is landing. The show is almost over. All that's left for you is this song. Joe left the studio. He's probably drinking, Diet Mountain Dew. Maybe he's watching funny videos on YouTube, or playing chess, or doing Jewy things Jews do. We hope you had fun, and maybe you learned something you hit like, and you subscribe. Leave a comment if you want to show some love. That would be cool. You can be cool. Leaving comments is cool. So till next time, please be sure to stay away from lab meat. It was never meant for you. It's meant for they or them or comrade sparkle hugs. And most importantly, do not eat seed bugs. Good night and Godspeed.